Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Longplay Club for Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. This is part 4. Today we're going to be talking about Act 4 of this game. I'm your host, Christian Buckley, codename Panther, joined by Omar Nakvi, codename Jaguar.
Hey,
You're back in Alaska today.
I'm back. I'm mushing all my dogs again, I
Mhm.
think.
But
Uh,
is it a struggle, with global warming and everything? Just like less ice?
uh, Global warming is always a struggle, I
Fair
think.
enough. Fair enough.
Thank you for your time.
Kevin Diaz, codename Scorpion. How are you, sir?
Oh, we're doing fantastic. This is the pinnacle,
Mm-hmm.
guys. We made it.
Yes.
We made it. Right? There's no way it gets better. There's no shot. There's no way it gets better than this, or does it?
Well, let's
Oh
see.
man. Oh man.
Rounding out the panel, codename Pigeon, Jack Martin.
Hello. When I first talked about this game being The Force Awakens, I was really referring to this act because boy howdy.
Dude, let's go.
I love me some comfort food, and this act, and I'm very excited to talk about it.
I mean, I did it once, right? I did the impossible. Predict liquid taking over Ocelot's body via the arm, right? How did I do it again, gentlemen? How?
I have
Crazy.
a theory
Crazy.
on why you did, but we will get to that when we break down the Shadow Moses stuff. But picking up where we left off this week, we once again get our next mission briefing. Senny's cracking eggs, singing the melody with different words, I guess this time. The eggs were building, the first act there was 1, the second act there were 2, then there were 3. Kevin, I was watching your stream, I heard you call out 4, but it was, is it meiosis? Is that what happens with the cells? Jack's nodding.
Mitochondria.
Yeah.
Mitochondria. I don't know.
You're talking to a biology major here,
Mhm.
and as you could probably tell, and yes, it is. What did you just say, Christian?
Meiosis.
That's exactly right.
Perfect.
It's meiosis.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
I remembered one thing from 9th grade biology, and that was it. So, we get our next mission briefing. Again, pretty straightforward this time. I think more so than last week's because there's no weird layers with Naomi. But Snake is basically dying this entire time. He's burned. He's got a bandage on. It's just progressively falling off his face. We learn that Liquid's next objective is getting Rex, because Rex predates the SOP system. He can circumvent what control he doesn't have over the whole globe, because we saw last week he had GW as a backdoor to give him access to the SOPs. But to get full control, he has to blow up the rest of the cores by launching a nuke at him. And the only way he can launch a nuke is the old-fashioned way, with a good old railgun on top of a walking tank.
Just like our grandfathers wanted it.
Yeah, exactly. The Shagohod, right? Ever since the Cold War, we've just been launching nukes now.
Mm-hmm.
So we learn throughout this scene that we're going to be, dealing with Rex once again. There is the name drop of Shadow Moses. Mei Ling calls up to just let us know, yes, we are going to Shadow Moses. And this is mainly a focus on teeing up where the act goes, and Snake with a horrible smoker's cough and, Fox die, a laundry list of medical issues here. Last week, I think, for the mission briefing, we all felt it was sort of the most you can get out of it, maybe, or it seemed like they reached the threshold of what a mission briefing will do for this game. But Omar, this week, kicking off with the Shadow Moses stuff, seeing Mei Ling again, what was your highlight out of this mission briefing?
Remember the mission briefing too much, but I do remember the fact that Mei Ling has a new accent. She changed it,
Yes.
just like Naomi,
Yes.
which was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a change done in Twin Snakes, or is that a MGS4 change?
I think that one is just 4.
Okay.
But Twin Snakes might have been it too. I can't remember.
Okay.
But
Yeah, that definitely stood out to me too. I was like very shaken when she popped up.
Was this mission briefing the one where Snake and Raiden are having that heart to heart about
Yeah.
doing the thing?
love
Okay.
it.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Kevin,
You go ahead. Sorry.
just going off of the point of the Snake and Raiden here, you were real excited to see Raiden pop up again in this game. He was kind of out of commission for the past act, but this time, seeing him struggle to get there, like, what was it like for you seeing Raiden sort of fighting against the situation and his conversation with Snake?
I thought it was really great. I thought it was one of probably the most memorable parts of the game where, like, I mean, Snake helped Raiden so much in like MGS2, right? And then for it to be the reverse and like Raiden want to, but like physically can't yet, we'll get to that later on. But and those like USB-C ports down his spine and stuff like that looking crazy. But yeah, no, like I thought it was a really, really good scene where like, I don't know, like there was something like poetic about like Snake allowing Raiden to help him, right? Even which I thought that was kind of like a big step too, because like I feel like Snake would have been like, no, this is a one-man job, like like he wouldn't want like help from Raiden necessarily, right? So even when that happened in the past episodes, I was like, man, like that's something that I didn't think that like Snake, without having this aging thing and having everything going on, like would even do in the first place. So for like just Snake to talk to Raiden, like I don't know, like more like an equal in a lot of ways, was like actually surprising a lot. So I really liked it. And like it worked for me, like Raiden like really just wanting to help Snake, and like I think Raiden's genuine in that whole conversation, but I thought it was great. That was very good.
Yeah, a line that specifically stood out to me in that interaction was when Snake said that Raiden misunderstood the advice Snake gave at the end of 2. And I was thinking through that, because like Raiden's super hot topic-y emo in this game, right? And like very self-hating. And I wonder if the thought I had there, like seeing him wanting to help Snake, a lot of energy of like passing torches in this scene and stuff like that. I wonder if the choice to be like, hey, no, you got me wrong, dude, like that's not what I meant when I told you to do these things. I wonder if because Raiden for so long was basically acting as a secondary next generation version of Snake, like through those missions and the basically being gaslit by the Patriots and all this stuff of telling him what to do, I wonder if that's what caused him to fall back, because like moving forward his response was a mix of I was existing as basically Solid Snake for so many years and also dealing with the thoughts and memories of me being a child soldier. But Jack, what did you think of seeing a bit more of Raiden's, I guess, motivation and like insight into him for this game here?
Yeah, I agree with what Kevin was saying, how Snake and Raiden are speaking more on terms of they're both equals in what they're doing. But I also like the sense that Snake is still a mentor to Raiden, and he's essentially, like what you said, hey, you misinterpreted what I said at the end of Metal Gear Solid 2, but he also said that Raiden has a future. And he was trying to tell him like not to mess that future up. And I really liked that interaction. And I also really liked Sonny coming in, and you can see Sonny and Raiden's relationship, because did they confirm that Raiden helped save Sonny?
Yeah, in the call.
I think that was
yeah.
Like 2 acts ago, I think that when Raiden's introduced, I think he's the one that says, I brought Big Boss's remains to Big Mama so she would give me Sonny, because Big Mama was still Patriots at the time, and Sonny was being held captive by the Patriots, presumably her. So
yeah, so I really liked all the character interactions in this particular. I think this is easily the best mission briefing of I think the 3 we've gotten. You also get Otacon saying like he has to atone for his sins for creating Metal Gear Rex, and that's what they're going back to do. Yeah, and just the fact of them saying, like we have to go back to Shadow Moses. It's like obviously it's very fan servicey, but it is just like the first time I played that, not even having played Metal Gear Solid 1, I was like, holy shit, I can't believe we're doing this. And I wonder if this is your theory, Christian, because I think Kevin might have heard this from Greg Miller at some point, and maybe subconsciously forgot, because Greg Miller has a story where he's like playing through Metal Gear Solid 4, and it was like late at night, and he gets to the mission briefing of Act 4, and then he's like, he hears we're going to Shadow Moses, and like just kept playing through the night because of that.
Shit, I don't know, guys. Honestly, I would have been honest if I knew that. Like, I definitely tried to give you guys. I did miss the I missed one thing from Metal Gear Solid. I forgot which one. But I said it like in one of the episodes semi recently. I forgot. But I mean, maybe, I don't know. Like, you know, I have info about a lot of weird things. I guess I don't know. But like, as like
a subconscious thing where you heard that and then it just.
Well, I mean, like, I kind of put together with like. I just figured that, okay, like, this game seems to be, like, pulling back from, like, past things. I'm like, are they going to do that ultimate, like, we're going back to a location, like, and then, because I definitely thought not, because I felt like, because everyone, like, always wants a Metal Gear Solid 1 remake, that, like, oh, they've never built that Shadow Moses, like, in 3D before. Like, I thought it was something that like, we've, like, never seen, necessarily. You know what I'm saying? So, that's why I thought that it definitely was never a thing. And I just figured, hey, let me just throw it out there because, like, we want a remake, I guess. So why not, you know, go there? But I didn't realize we actually would at all.
Yeah. The theory I had was sort of what, Kevin, you mentioned. Like, just the fact that the Mash X for flashbacks thing exists, and they're like that, I think that was the thing that maybe when you said that, I was like, okay, well, that makes sense because it's so heavy on giving you options for callbacks, right, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but Jack is absolutely correct. This sequence this is the definition of fan service. So, like, Omar, this was your first Metal Gear Solid game as well, right?
Yeah.
How did that hit you at the time, seeing the way they talked about Shadow Moses? Because you were familiar with, like you said, you watched your brother play through them, but how did that hit you at the time, and how's it been going back now?
I was super dumb. I was in 5th grade, and I think I was like, well, that's not what I think Alaska looks like. Even though I had seen Shadow Moses from Metal Gear Solid 1, I think I barely understood the fact that it was really stupid. Like, I was young. Oh my, did I glitch out?
Slightly.
Yeah. A little bit.
Crap. I'm sorry. I glitched out again. Oh, fuck.
It's all good. But, Kevin, I knew it would hit you hard. I popped into your stream for the first, like, 15 minutes, because, like, I wanted to see the reveal in the mission briefing, and I wanted to see you, like, walk up to the base, because it is such, like, a moment, and there were elements of the introduction that I definitely forgot about, which we will get to, but I do want to hear what Omar has to say about something.
Oh, he's gonna be right back. Okay, he's gonna be right back. Okay. Do we want to just, like, keep it going and just wait for Omar, or
we didn't talk about the name of the act either. This one's called Twin Suns, Star Wars reference, of course, right? That's what it is.
Yes. Yeah. Indeed, absolutely. Yeah, that's why first I'm like, okay, like, wait a minute. Like, yeah. But dude, can we talk about the dream sequence? Oh my god, dude, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Before we go in on that, I do want to ask you, Kevin, because I asked you last week. Ask me. Okay. We have Solid Sun, Liquid Sun, Third Sun, and now Twin Suns. What are you thinking? What do you think what was your first? Obviously, I assume you thought Star Wars when you saw Twin Suns.
Yes, yeah, okay. That was knee jerk. So Solid Sun, and then Liquid Sun. Yeah.
Those might be swapped 1 and 2. I forget.
Okay. Like SUN or SON?
SUN.
SUN, yeah.
Like the ball of fire that powers
Yeah.
Superman.
Solid
Yeah, that's
Sun.
the only thing it does, actually.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all it's good for.
So wait, I
Melton ice,
forgot the
powering of Calcestis.
I forgot the third one.
Calcestis, huh?
Kal-El.
So there's Solid Sun, Liquid Sun, and then Blank, and then Twin Suns. What's the Blank? What's the
Third
one
Sun
again?
for Act 3.
Third Sun. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, they got real creative for that one.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming Solid Sun, Liquid Sun, right? Solid Snake and Liquid Snake, right? And that makes a lot of sense. Third Sun, Solidus, or I'm assuming that'd be Solidus, right? That they're talking about there, maybe. Twin Suns, I know the Metal Gear Solid 1 like remake that no one likes is called Twin Snakes, right? Plus we had the 2 eggs go into one, right, to represent kind of like a liquid and solid going in, like being embodied from Big Boss, right?
Sure.
The symbolism of that.
I believe that would be mitosis, though, not meiosis.
Truly, I just
Christian's-
remember mitochondria. I don't.
Christian's
I just remember
absolutely
that.
correct. That is
Photo-
100% correct.
Photosynthesis, we love that. Truly, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 process. So the fifth one, the fifth and final one. What's that going to be named? I'm assuming it's going to end with Sun. Phoenix Suns.
Maybe.
You know. You know. But okay, yeah. I don't. Is there any other? Is there another copy of that I don't remember? Like, is there? I'm trying to think. I feel like we haven't seen the last of that nasty Big Boss like body type thing. I feel like we're gonna see that again, and I'm probably gonna vomit again. But because that thing is disgusting. But
Twin Suns is
twin. Yeah,
that's the name of the episode in Star Wars Rebels. Spoilers, but it's been years at this point. Where Darth Maul.
Oh yes,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It is. Yeah, that is what the episode's called. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Very good one. Very good one.
So, Omar, since you have come back, I would like to hear.
Yeah, sorry about
the rest
that.
of your point. It's
I
okay.
hate
Don't worry about
computers.
it.
Yeah. Since World War II, computers were the worst enemy. What was that? The thoughts on what, Christian? The same thing I was saying, or
No, because it came across of just like when you were younger, you just didn't understand really that.
that was
Shadow
it. Yeah, it was really just like, oh, what? Okay,
So-
new location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume though at some point, like within the time since you played that, you realized, right, like what that was.
Yeah,
and
no,
everything.
it is crazy. Yeah.
So, I guess diving back into that on this replay, did it hit you any differently? Like, how did you feel going through those beginning processes of teeing it up,
Well,
seeing it for the first time? What's up?
yeah, I think I was really happy with the way they constructed this level in terms of like map and like level design. Like, it is Shadow Moses from
Yes.
1. Like, I replayed 1 with all you guys, and then I also replayed played Twin Snakes for the first time. And those games are like, I got really familiar with the Shadow of Moses environment this year, and I was surprised at how like, oh, this is exactly like where everything you expect it to be. And it seemed like it's like most of it, right? Isn't it like most of the game's map, but like if not all of it?
Yeah, there's unfortunately, like, I was hoping that we were gonna able to explore like B1. And like the floor right below, not the second floor but the first floor when you have the elevator, like but yeah, I was really hoping that you could explore that because I want to see like the like bathroom area and the like conference room where like we had to trail the agent that was walking funny or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I wanted to explore that area a lot, but it was okay. It was all good. I mean,
yeah,
dude, like, I'm not complaining. Like, I'm not complaining. It was great. It was great.
No, I would have loved to seen like the Psycho Mantis room or something there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the
that would've been
Ocelot
cool.
fight room too.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't get the armory. You know, we just really got everything in the first building that we see to get out of the first building wasn't there. But I think most of the stuff after the fact was. But
We got a really good remix of the Blast Furnace theme in this as well.
yeah, I like that it was like very like
It was cool seeing that room.
Yeah,
yes.
it was like very chill. It was a nice little change on it too, and like all the lava was gone and everything. Like,
a super fucking cool, man.
so
like it
getting
looked deserted. Oh, goddamn. It's great.
getting the disc changing joke right beforehand. Where like the muscle memory was there. It's like, oh, I'm expecting a call right now, and then you actually get it, and it's Otacon actually saying, hey, you gotta change disc.
So funny.
Amazing.
So funny. It was, that scene was very like, oh, this is so wild. Because like I was playing it, like I was on stream, like I'm playing this game via a streaming service called PlayStation Now on my PlayStation 5 with my DualSense control. Like those were not even thoughts when this game came out. And like that was just so cool. For it to be like, yeah, like you're playing on PS3. Yeah. And what would they think of next? Like, oh dude, like that's so fucking cool. So cool.
I'll tell you, I thought about the PS5 in 3rd grade. I knew.
Damn.
I was like, you know what? After the PS3, I think they'll do 4, maybe 5, and 6, and then that'll be it. That's it. That's the
6
end.
is the last one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that add the PS9? Wasn't that a thing?
Yeah.
Yes,
oh my god.
Because I was thinking about that in 3rd grade. If you want to talk about far expectations.
They're legally obligated to make that console now.
Yeah, it's very true.
That has to be the final one. It really does. It's
You should sue them when they make it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the way it's introduced, because similar to nothing really like this that I can think of happens in Metal Gear Solid 3, but 1 and 2 have their fair share of like funny messing with you moments. When the transition happened to get into the area, I got my saving system data thing after the mission briefing, and then like the HDMI on my TV like actually like popped out so I could see the HDMI select, and I was like, Omar, you mentioned that, because I'm borrowing your PS3 for this, you mentioned that Metal Gear Solid 4 broke several PS3s of yours. I was worried. I was like, oh fuck, what just happened?
Yeah, what that is well, my PS3s broke, I think, because they were original like 80 gig, the big PS3s, and like Otacon says in that call, this was an 80 gig, the first dual layered Blu-ray game, I think, on PS3. And I think the drives just weren't ready for it, and it just fried them for some reason.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really?
At least 2 PS3s I had like somewhat died after I played some Metal Gear Solid 4 on it.
Holy shit! Wow,
so
that's wild.
There's a copy of it around here that I just don't put into a PS3 anymore.
Damn.
Did you say to that PlayStation, it's a bit too early now, but your kids are gonna love it?
Oh man! After hearing that, man, like I hope my specific PS3 that I proxied into is okay on the server rack in the PS Now server room. I hope it's okay.
No, because
let's pray.
Genuinely, like that's the only thing that got me, right? Like I feel like if I was alive at the time and I saw the Hideo thing, I would have been like, for a split second, what happened to the game, you know? But like this, I genuinely, because you told me beforehand, I was like, fuck, what happened? But,
no,
wait,
what's up?
Wait, so like I don't think I saw what you guys are describing. Something like some HDMI something.
Yeah,
This isn't. Well, I mean, it is probably intentional, I guess, but like it's an accident kind of thing where I think the PS3 didn't have an upscale, it doesn't scale the image before it goes out. It like just takes whatever resolution it is. So like, I think this launches like an emulator, like maybe the same like PS1 emulator in the PS3, and it kind of launches out of the game for a second, so it switches the resolution, so your TV knows something is changing.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Because I checked. Metal Gear Solid 4 had been running in 720p for me, but this Metal Gear Solid 1 part was running in 1080p.
So interesting.
Yeah, they fooled me.
Yeah, which that dream sequence is perfect. Oh my god, goddamn.
So,
perfect.
Looking back on how we played Metal Gear Solid 1, did you guys infiltrate the same way we did for our MGS1 playthrough? Because I went back through the vent. That's my way I always go. I went up top through the vent.
Yeah, I went top vent. No weapon for you to find. No pistol for you to find. Because I went into the truck being like, all right, I
Yes.
guess I'll try and waste these dudes, and not there. I also got caught by the spotlight. I was trying to get, I think, the chaff grenades in the center, and I did, but I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe the right side of the helipad had like a wall this time, which was different, I think, from the PS1 Metal Gear Solid, and I was using that as my exit point, couldn't go through, so I got caught. But yeah, mostly the same.
Kevin, you do the same as you did before?
Yeah, I did mess around a little bit. I did like punch a homie for a little bit there just to like mess around with it. But yeah, I went the same way. But like when we go into the actual map, I thought that because I always went the first floor air vent type thing and like kind of snuck in there. That's what I did in the first game. So I thought that was blocked off when we got to the actual map in the game, but it wasn't. So I just thought it was blocked off like with a gate. But yeah, I always go through that air vent, and it was great. It was great. It was weird because like I don't want to say I already have nostalgia for MGS1 because that sounds weird because I just played it like a few months ago. But it was a weird feeling, like going exactly back to MGS1 in that starting area, seeing the elevator that you rise up in with the screen with the logo and everything. Like it was really great. It was really great. It's great.
Well, I think this game having like its dream sequence be a sequence from an older game is so unique to the genre or to the medium of video games. Like for a movie to do a flashback, it's just a flashback, and it might look like there might be a filter or something, but having you actually like be in control of an older iteration of a game in the series is so amazing. And I completely forgot when I played through Uncharted 4 with the Crash Bandicoot demo that they had in that game. I completely forgot about Metal Gear Solid 4. And those two games are really the only instances I can think of. There are probably some other ones because I think it's a really great gameplay technique. But like, it's really the only games I come to think of where it's like, all right, let's let you control an older version of this series or older version of a video game as like a part of the game. And there's no other medium that can do that in that tangible way. And I think that definitely makes sense for you to feel nostalgic, Kevin, because like you're actually playing that and you're physically interacting with that experience.
Yeah,
and
it's weird.
Yeah, it's amazing. I absolutely love it.
And I love how like it like I love how it makes sense for Snake to have dreams that look like that, because that's how we know Metal Gear Solid 1, you know.
Yeah,
it's great.
And the transition from pixels to him waking up in the helicopter was perfect. I've never seen such an impressive transition in a video game before. That was amazing.
I will say another instance of this is Donkey Kong 64. There's a frantic factory level, and if you go upstairs into the office, there's an arcade cabinet, and if you do it, you can play OG Donkey Kong on it. It's very difficult, but it is there. But
very cool.
Yeah, we did talk a lot about with Metal Gear Solid 2, right? When they introduce the flashbacks to MGS1, not using updated models, right? Like they flash back to showing you like Ocelot with no eyes and just like the PS1 model when they're talking about events of MGS1. And yeah, I think you nailed it, Jack, because, and Kevin also, with what you said about like that's how us as players know that game, and like that's what Snake went through, because I think Metal Gear Solid so far has been not shying away, well, maybe this game specifically, with some of the flashbacks of like their world just exists the way that it's gone, you know, like they don't try to touch it up. It's like, no, that's how that looks because that's how that happened. And I can't really think of, again, many other games that do stuff like that. Like I can't think of any long-running series that when we flash back to something, it's what it looked like, even if it's not being played. But I just wanted to bring it up in 2 because they do introduce that sort of reverence for their own history in 2 with the visual translation there. But yeah,
it's a really iconic look, all those character models and stuff. And I'm always happy that they use those ones rather than like Twin Snakes. Like it's still part of the reason why I really don't want a Metal Gear Solid remake, is I think like, hey, that game was the game, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, because I agree. Like, I remember a lot in our MGS1 playthrough, Omar, you were talking about just how much you love how the visuals look. Because, like, I'm with you. I think that Metal Gear Solid 1 does look good. Like, no shit, it's not realistic, right? Like, that was the choice they made. And I think it did age well in terms of just maintaining that iconic look and the expression and everything. It holds up in a really great way, I think. So.
Yeah.
And I think following up that really cool dream sequence, going through the snow, you're kind of just blinded by the snowstorm that is a joke when you turn night vision on.
Yeah.
True.
I think the other thing, honestly, that really makes it hit for that nostalgic feel that you were saying, Kevin, is like, before we even see the Arms Tech base, we are walking up that hill past the Gecko, and when we pass the Gecko, they cue the beginning of The Best Is Yet to Come Again, which, to my knowledge, hasn't been used since MGS1, unless I'm forgetting something. And with MGS4, well, like, we all like the music, I think. I think we were all pretty positive on the old Snake theme, but Snake Eater exists. So, like, in the first 3 games, there is that really strong, like, vocal track, right? And in 12 hours so far of playing MGS4, there hasn't been something like that. So I do think being hit with that, reminding us of just how integral a lot of the music was to MGS1 before we see the place, really, like, sets that up in a great way, because I think in a lot of cases with remasters, which I'm bringing up because this is kind of like a remake sort of this level, at least, like, I really love that the Spyro trilogy did this, where you can play it with the way it exists now for that remake. They did a reorchestration of the music too, but they also give you the original tracks, just like sort of remastered, but it is the exact same sound. And I think that goes a long way with those feelings of nostalgia, because music, I think, hits and persists way more than any type of visuals. So introducing with that, I really, really like.
Yeah, and having the song play as you, like, approach the helicopter or the helipad, I just love how that and just the whole tone of this feels so sad. And it's almost like the antithesis to returning to the Millennium Falcon, like Han Solo and Chewie returning to that, because it's such it's a moment of like returning to something good and something that makes you feel good. And Snake is returning to this place where he learned that he's gonna die, and just had all these like traumatic memories, and now he's returning as a dying man. And you as the player is like, oh, I remember this. This is like, I loved playing here as a game, but the tone of it all, with the context of the game, is just so bittersweet in a way. And you get all these like flashbacks on the helipad or like near the elevator. And it's like, all right, this is just one last ride, and it's like revisiting this place and then off to die. It's so sad, and I just really love the tone in this act, but throughout the whole game, it's just Snake's a ticking time bomb, and I really like that approach.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I love it.
So
and then like, of course, the like VO callbacks that we get multiple times through this whole section is like, it's too good. It's too much.
That must be re-recorded, right?
That was my
some
question,
of it
yeah.
is,
Some
but
of it
I
is.
don't think all of it is. Or okay, there's one very obvious recording,
Right.
Yeah,
but
with
it's like
Melee.
maybe, and Naomi, I think.
Yeah, when the Naomi line happened towards the end of like the callback, when it was her talking about everything from MGS1, I wrote down, I was like, okay, wait, so are they using the clips from Twin Snakes for this, or is it just hers? Because like some of the stuff of Snake on the helipad sounded like Snake on the helipad, but like,
yeah,
maybe it sounds like that in Twin Snakes, but I know there's a big difference between even David Hayter's performance in those two games.
Maybe, like, honestly, the biggest, like, hearing Master Miller,
Mhm.
I think, was like, that guy sounds exactly like I think he did in the PS1 game.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, whoops, but that had to be the same recording, I think. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I was gonna say too on the song part. Was that the first instance of like that Red Dead moment? Like, was it that?
Probably.
That's a good point.
That's a really
Pretty
good
cool.
point.
In
Yeah.
2008, yeah.
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 I will say similar to the first time I played Red Dead 1, I messed up this moment and like, or it bugged out. In Red Dead, the music bugged out for me, so I didn't even get it, which was unfortunate. I think I crossed the section at the wrong time. But in this one, I think the music started playing for like 20 seconds, then I went into that vent, and then it cut out. I was like, oh crap. All right.
Yeah, I definitely stayed around for a little bit and did a nice E3 slow pan, slow walk down the mountain. You know, just looking at the facility. Yeah, it is crazy. Sorry, go ahead.
Did you guys get the overhead trophy?
No, I don't
So-
think so.
No, they were
If
saying
you're-
that
If
I
if
didn't
you're on
know
the
how to.
helipad,
I didn't know how to do it.
you just like tilt the camera up so that like the camera's facing like on top of Snake's head, and he'll comment and be like, overhead view, now you're talking, and then afterward he goes,
Nice.
yeah, overhead view. It's really fun.
I did notice when we were in Otacon's office, like during the cutscene though, like when Snake was like, I'm gonna have a look around, and then he like walked past the cubicle, it looked exactly like the exact same framing of the camera angle from the Frank Yeager fight. That's the one that stood out to me, but
The like horizontal, like from a wide,
yeah.
like from the back of the room. Yeah, I did notice that too. Yeah.
But another thing I like too, just the way this translated to 3D is like, it was that muscle memory, right? Of like, I know exactly where some items will be when we get into the weapons storage room. There's the ration. If you go left, not go down the ramp, you go to the left, and there's the walkway. So that was really cool. Kevin, does your hatred of the backtracking in MGS1, does it make up for it now that you know exactly where you have to go?
I'd like to make an official announcement. I did it on stream. I'll do it here. I'd like to revoke all critical comments I had about Metal Gear Solid 1, besides the gameplay. The gameplay as a whole doesn't age well. I'm gonna keep that on there. Everything else, I'm gonna have to retract. Metal Gear Solid 1 is perfect. I'm sorry. I'd like to apologize for all the shit I talked about it. It was uncalled for.
Mm-hmm.
I was being a dumbass gamer boy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
Thank you.
There we are. Completely wrong.
Just in general about Shadow Moses, they do throw little twists at you, right? There's some things you expect to happen that don't happen. I tried the elevator immediately in that Warhead room because I was like, I gotta go downstairs. I just gotta see what that is. I don't want to go forward. And it was locked out. Kevin, I saw again on your stream the minefield incident.
Yo, I was like, oh, the PTSD. Like, okay, guys, like, where's my mine detector? Okay, let's like go through this very calmly. But I got scared in another way in this section, which is very good. Which is very, very like, I guess this makes a lot more sense for sure. Yeah.
There's one thing with that elevator, or elevators in general in the section where I think in Metal Gear Solid 1, you press the elevator button, it takes a while for the elevator to get there. But if you press it twice, it gets there instantly.
Oh, really?
And that's the same in this one.
Really? I didn't
Yeah.
know.
Crazy.
It's pretty neat.
Huh.
I wish I knew that. God damn.
I did not know that. Huh.
Yeah.
I think it's something I learned during like Twin Snakes playthrough on the channel, but like, yeah.
Very cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I was in the blast furnace area. Because in MGS1 we go on the elevator on the right side of the room, right? In the blast furnace area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went there and it was locked out, and I was like, shit. And then I saw there was a lit up
Oh,
wall
right,
on the other side. I was like, that's probably where I have to be. And the little ball droids spotted me on the way over, and there was
The
just a
dwarf
swarm of
gecko.
them. Thank you.
No problem.
That is actually one of the few things about this act that I really dislike. I didn't like how the game doesn't give you enough chaff grenades to mess with them and effectively take them out. And at a certain point, I was like, well, I guess like I wanted to explore the level, right? And the way to do that was like, I guess I got to destroy all these things. And my stress level was at 100. I'm losing health just because I'm so stressed. I'm mowing
Combat
these things
high.
down. Yeah, combat high.
Combat
And
high. Yeah.
I wish it was either no enemies in the first few sections at all, or it was just go for it. Let's just do a recreation of Metal Gear Solid 1 with guards. Because the ball droids, maybe I didn't figure out an effective way to take them out, but I really wanted to explore the level because it was part of that nostalgia for me. And the most effective way for me to do that was to destroy all these things. And it took kind of a long time, and it was annoying. And I don't think it was fun gameplay, personally. So that cheapened it a little bit. So yeah, it was, for me, it was either have no enemies to make that a little bit easier, or just replicate the enemies from Metal Gear Solid 1. I would have appreciated that.
100% agree. I think the ball droids were not the move. Yeah, because it's already like established that there's been someone that's been making multiple trips here, to the island on a pretty, regular basis. So let's just put Liquid's henchmen or whatever, let's put them in, have them the exact same count of enemies. They're doing the same routing, trails. I think that would have been super great. Yeah, I wish we had that, but I guess it is still cool to like have like this new enemy that is infecting this old sacred place that I find really cool as well. So either way it works, I just didn't like the combat with the ball droids. I thought it was just like really distracting and just not what I want to do. Like I want to explore this. Like I wish we were able to use that right side elevator because I wanted to see the like elevators going down, and like I really wanted to go there and see. I don't know how much of Vulcan Raven is left there because those birds were kind of went to town on him. So the also just seeing the birds in the blast furnace room as well was so cool. Good times, good stuff. I agree.
Yeah, I think I'm with you guys. Like the dwarf geckos weren't my favorite part here. I did use the chaff grenade that I got on the landing pad. After I went through the vents and I dropped down into that first area, I got alerted, so I just threw the chaff grenade and sprinted through to the minefield, so I didn't really get to explore that room at all, which was a bummer. But the uses that I really like for them here is, again, talking about how there's this like old decrepit building that's falling apart, and they don't there's the joke, I think, in one of those outdoor storage rooms in the first landing pad area. If you walk into it, like Snake looks up at the security camera and then it like falls down and he's like, that was a problem before, or something like that. But I do like that in that area, before we get to like Rex's hangar also, there and other areas here too, the dwarf geckos that are planted on the wall are just acting as like security cameras. I would have preferred if it was just that, honestly, and if they got spotted, they summon a normal gecko, because that I think would incentivize exploration better, because I did want to see more of the area, even if there wasn't a lot there. But I as a concept of the dwarf geckos just being the modern day version of the security cameras, like for the ones on the walls, I do really like, because it is showing just how far that world's tech has come, I think.
What's the way to even like take them out? Like, is there a good can you stealth them at all?
No.
I tried to use a suppressor on them, but they alert all of
what
them.
I found,
yeah,
that's pretty much what happened for me. Like, I would destroy one stealthily, and then literally like hundreds more would pop out and be like, "What just happened?" And then at that point, it's like, "Well, I guess I have to fight them all." So, chaff grenades completely like renders them useless, but the game only gives you, I think, like the 4 that you find, and you can't buy any from Drebin afterwards. So I think you have to be like strategic with how many you actually use and where you use them.
Since I had very limited chaff grenades, and I guess I haven't ID'd unlocked them yet. I guess I haven't done that yet. I know that's like a really quick thing. I just didn't do. I did the patented hit him with the AK, as we do. So that's how they went down. But
nice. Yeah. I couldn't find a good way to do it either. I did what you did, Omar. I tried using the suppressor, and it just screwed me basically. So,
Yeah.
overall though, getting through this first chunk I thought was nice. I think before we go outside, we do go back down through the Frank Yeager floor with the hallway, and there is the electrified floor area. There's a couple jokes about that, but did you guys remember the code for entering in the
Yeah.
You did? Okay. Because I got a phone call when Otacon was telling me what it was, and it was a spam call. I didn't answer it, but like I was like, okay, I think he said like 48203 or something like that.
48273.
It's 273. Yeah, I got one number wrong.
Yeah, 482. Yeah, I wrote it down, which I love because I was writing down a lot of things that they were telling me in the original game too.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like this part was kind of like trying to recreate that in a way too, where like I know that seems kind of far-fetched, but like I don't know, just the way that they would spit something at you that you're gonna have to remember later on.
Mm-hmm.
I know in the original game I was just writing stuff down for later use, so that definitely came in handy. Like I definitely did the same technique of like writing it down, so
yeah,
it worked out.
It's funny if you get it wrong. There's a pretty fun moment between Snake and Otacon where because he's constantly joking of like, oh, make sure you remember this, you're going senile. Meanwhile, Otacon forgets it too, right? But like I got one number wrong, and then it says like access denied or something, and Otacon's just like in the most saddest way possible, was like, Snake, your memory. And then Otacon tries to think of it, he enters the right thing in, and then he was like, again, it was one number off, and Snake was like, no, I remembered it just now. Like, I'm not senile yet. Like, it was fun, but
did his sight gauge decrease when he forgot it?
It did.
That's funny.
So, after this whole sequence, we get our next B&B fight. Outside, we once again are teased with a sound cue. We go to the Sniper Wolf area. We hear a wolf howl. And boss fight time. Crying Wolf sucks again. I hate it.
Kind of sucks.
I really hate
sucks.
the B&B unit so much.
Kind of sucks. Yeah, it's like I don't like because what they're inspired by is so good, but then when they actually try to replicate it, like sucks. Wait, I'm trying to remember this one's backstory. I forgot. I think Drebin even makes like a little joke, like, "Oh, like sit down and get ready to hear this backstory about this boss." So it's like y'all know what's bad. Like y'all know what's bad, and you're still doing it. That's wild to me.
Yeah, because like
that's crazy.
They're treated like ghost stories.
I'm like, what the? Like, bro.
The direct thing Drebin says after the fight ends, he's like, time for another bedtime story. And it's like, fucking yeah dude, because these are putting me to sleep. This is boring as hell. Like, let me just go on. But Kevin... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Omar.
I was just going to put out this, but like I feel like I always thought Metal Gear Solid like had the greatest boss fights in games, but on this whole long play club, it was just the first one.
It's literally just the first one.
Fights,
sure is.
It's literally the first one. Yeah, it's literally just the first one.
And Batman.
Yeah, because specifically here too, because I liked the Sniper Wolf fight in 1. I really do. I know I was the dissenter on that week, but I really enjoy that fight. And emotionally, Kevin, for sure, but also for like just this feelings of like doing this sniper fight. It's exactly what you said of like, oh, they're trying to do it and it's not hitting. It's like the entire time I was just like reminding me of how much I love Metal Gear Solid 1, because it was like, yeah, this is like a thing, you know, there's all these frogs sniping and you gotta just run around this area. Like, it didn't feel like a sniper fight, which is, I think, what they wanted it to go for. Like, the first game, you're planted down, you're having to be a sniper. This is like, I ended up using a grenade launcher for the entire fight. Like, I
thought it would be too.
Yeah.
Like, I thought like they were gonna do that, but like it definitely wasn't. Like, I mean, at least I didn't treat it like that. I would climb up the tower, right? Use my night vision goggles, spot her, and then I had a LMG, which, by the way, happy to report. Snake also screams in this game when you're spraying and LMG. Not as good as MGS3. I will give MGS3 that little medal. I think they have the definitive David Hayter, LMG scream. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's what I was doing. Like I was just spraying this like giant weird wolf metal thing. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It wasn't great. Yeah, it wasn't great. Mm-hmm. I think I don't know. I wish it was because I think because it was like, man, I would love to do a sniper fight with these controls. The way this game feels, like that is what I'm talking about. Like that would make it great. The only thing that made that sniper fight in the first game bad was because how am I supposed to aim with a PS1 controller? Like that's not happening. Yeah.
Well, if you did play it on the PS3, you could have used analog. But
you're right. True. You're right.
The context of the Sniper Wolf fight in MGS1 is great. It's just like what Kevin said. It comes down to the controls, and it doesn't control well, really, at all these days. But even with the controls, I feel like there's a lot of stuff, particularly with the boss fights, like gameplay mechanics that just completely break the game. Like the first beast, just turning on night vision just completely breaks that boss fight. Yeah. Second boss fight with the Raven is just sort of not too difficult at all. I sort of cheesed through that in a lot of ways. And then this boss fight, immediately I was like, oh, the cutscene showed Crying Wolf looking at Snake's head with like her thermal goggles. So I put on my the face mask, because when you turn on your night vision goggles, you don't see your head reflected. But turns out that doesn't do anything because she'll just she'll just smell you downwind, which is like how she figures you out. And yeah, it's really boring. Unfortunately, I think Omar is definitely right. Metal Gear Solid 1's the only game in the series that has any real good boss fights, and maybe a couple in 2 and 3. But yeah, overall,
we like the Fury, right? Like really like Fury. Like there's a few here and there, but definitely ultimately MGS1.
Yeah, MGS1 overall has the best boss fights. I don't think MGS4 so far, at least, has any good boss fights in my personal opinion. And this is definitely in that category, unfortunately.
I feel like this one is pretty close to being a good fight, though.
Yeah.
Like, if they change some stuff, because honestly, every time the Crying Wolf came at me randomly, just I think I had these cases where I think they didn't see me for a while, and then it just jumped with this cutscene, and those would always get me. I thought that was freaky.
Yeah.
But and I like this big snowfield, but I guess the having the frog troopers there just kind of makes it all kind of lame.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Because I did go for the tower, right? Because I was like, okay, I can put myself in Sniper Wolf's shoes and just be picking off this mechanical wolf. But again, that was good for 2-3 shots, and then she just hit herself and I couldn't find her on the tower anymore. I'm with you, Omar. I think in a lot of ways it's very close. This could have been, I think, the best fight, or one of the best so far. And as I played through the fight, I was like, okay, it's not the best. I did, out of pride, finish with a sniper shot when she was peeking out, because I just wanted to do that. And then again, the beauty version, kind of a joke. Omar, I would like to hear your best attempt at this. Do you remember anything about her backstory?
Oh my god, do I?
I wrote it down this week.
Wait, hold on. I think I can it's not that deep. It's not 6 feet deep. It's 3 feet. I think I can conjure it up if you give me oh shit.
I might have to pass on this.
Oh, I remember. I got it. I remember. Okay, so again, not sure why these ladies are always being hunted by soldiers, but wasn't it they were in a war zone and they were needing to escape? She was with her little brother who was a baby, and then in a very fucked up way, the baby started crying when they were hiding. So then she, I guess, intentionally wants to quiet the baby from crying, but then kills it. Him, I should say. That's come on, Kev. Kills him, accidentally, I guess, and then she goes. Oh wait, we go from that to her killing every child in the town or something. I forgot that part, but yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much nailed it. She went to a refugee camp after that, and then that's where she was murdering all these babies.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
And like,
it's pretty fucked up. It's pretty fucked up.
I love how, like, as the player and as Snake, Drebin's telling like these ghost stories essentially, and then afterwards, Snake and the player is just like, "Okay, can I go play the game now?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess, yeah, sure. Now you know though."
I don't
and
understand.
It's like, all right. I like I said before, I feel like it's like the game is trying to make the player feel bad for killing potentially these people who have suffered so much in their life, but like it doesn't hit. It's not hit really at all.
I mean,
and
I just
it's
don't
a
know
lot
what...
of tell-done show, so it's just silly.
I mean, I guess I could feel a little bit bad for her for, you know, unintentionally killing her baby brother. Like, yeah, I mean, I've never been in a situation where I have to silence a baby and there's people outside that want to kill us both, right? So I don't know, right? I guess that could be a... I unfortunately have not. That has not been in my timeline yet. You know, maybe an alternate one. I don't know, but like, I guess I could feel bad if like that was a true accident, right? But I don't know how I can feel empathetic for someone that then goes and kills and just does that 1,000 times over.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, am I supposed to feel empathy for her? Like, she sounds like a very horrible human. She sounds like, very, very horrible.
They're trying so hard, I think, like, even the music jack, and like they're really relying on that memory of Sniper Wolf. But again, that whole time it's just like, this is just making me think like Sniper Wolf is just such a better character, and like they do even less to tee her up. But like her death in 1, I think, is still really sad, and it still hits with like Otacon and everything there. But like, even relying on that, I was like, this chick fucking sucks. Like, I don't care about her backstory. The wolf came up and like nudged her and like put her on her back. It's like, all right, get the fuck out of here. Just let me go. I don't care. This is stupid. And more so than the other B&Bs, this is the one that I was like, okay, no, not at all. I have no feelings here.
Yeah, I like almost would have loved like if we could pick up like Sniper Wolf Sniper or something like that, you know, like if it was left on her body or whatever, you know, and her body's decayed or something like that after 9 years being away from Shadow Moses or something like that, or I don't know. Like, I think Otacon says something brief about Sniper Wolf that's supposed to call back to that, you know, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this one wasn't it.
That wolf is definitely her.
That wolf was definitely her. Yeah, I know that's definitely totally right. Yeah, that was pretty much like told very clearly. Like this is Sniper Wolf.
I do like that. Similar to MGS1 though, the wolves had the little heart emojis above their heads when Snake was around.
They did.
I didn't notice that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's
I noticed the mice. Sorry, go ahead.
It was like the little ones that float up. That after I think when the wolf is taking her, you see it, and then also when you're roaming around, there's the wolves will just come up to you and they got the little hearts. But,
I noticed the mice when you're first going into the base. They have the exclamation and they run away, just like in the first game. Also, do we touch on like, I mean, I guess we kind of did, but like Otacon saying like, oh, like this is where we first met, like this room and the whole Frank Jaeger Cyborg Ninja fight and everything. The one thing I want to say about that room is that I love that it wasn't like, it didn't look super like messed up in the original game after the fight, but then going back through Shadow Moses and seeing all the destruction that Snake caused, like it really adds to like how intense those fights were meant to be portrayed like in the original game. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that adds like a very good context. Like seeing like the and them explaining like, oh, why that remote controlled rocket that you had to hit the board in the back to de-electrify the platform in the first game, like why it wasn't that big of an explosion, because they had to fit so much technology for it to even be a guided missile, that they didn't have room for a lot of explosives, so it wasn't that big of an explosion. Just like little stuff like that like I love the way they were able to add context to the fights that were meant to be taken like super intensely and obviously did a lot of damage that just they weren't able to show on PS1. Like so cool. I loved it.
One of the coolest parts of like re-exploring Shadow Moses is the fact that like no one has touched this facility since like Metal Gear Solid 1 happened, and then it was completely deserted after that point. So walking through the hallway that Gray Fox like murdered those soldiers, like everything there is still the same. And it's just this whole facility has been untouched since the events of Metal Gear Solid 1. It's awesome. It's really cool.
It's awesome, man.
One thing I want to mention about that Gray Fox room, because I think we forgot, but I think Snake is looking at that section, that little part where Otacon peed his pants and getting the flashbacks. And I think Otacon said something like, I hope you aren't remembering anything too embarrassing, or something along those lines. And Snake is basically laughing, thinking about Otacon peeing himself, I think.
Yeah.
At this point. It is pretty good.
Yeah. And when they add the like audio, when they add the VO bits from the first game, like I thought it was fucking great. I thought it was great. I really love this section, for real.
Do you think because it sounds like the callbacks here at least are hitting for everybody. Do we think the constant VO, and I feel like we only have like 2 mash X's here, maybe 3, but like, do you think that those callbacks would be more impactful if they weren't throughout the rest of the game? But because I mean, like, it already worked for us, so like I don't know if it could have been amplified anymore. But
I mean, I personally don't think so, because like I really like I tossed out like, oh, it'd be crazy if we went back to Shadow Moses like as almost low key a joke, to be completely honest. Like, so I don't think it meant any less hearing the hearing when the corporal like goes into that crazy MGS2 VO where he's talking about the like crop circles and everything and like being abducted. Like that whole thing was like the first one of like, oh shit, like that was definitely like a similar vein of like what we had in this act in terms of VO flashbacks that are very memorable. But no, like I don't think it was lessened because there were sprinkled around the game, like, because I wasn't even thinking that we would ever go back to Shadow Moses. That wasn't even on my radar, like, to be completely honest. Like I said that as a joke, in the same way like the liquid arm thing was honestly a joke. So crazy. But yeah, no, I don't think it's way less because it's been sprinkled around. But Jack, do you think less, or Omar, do you think there's a difference? Like,
no, I feel like the Mash X to view flashback thing essentially takes the place of the L1 or R1 from Metal Gear Solid 3 in a way. But honestly, I liked that throughout the game. I sort of enjoyed the game referencing its history in the series, and it is optional at the end of the day. But I do like that because it's a way of Snake thinking about the past, and they always, like what you guys have said, they always use images from the game, the older games, during those sequences. So yeah, I appreciate it, and I don't think it cheapens or lessens any of the emotional, nostalgic moments of this act really at all.
Yeah, I also. Oh, go ahead, Omar.
I'm honestly not the biggest fan of the callbacks in this act. I feel like it's a lot of like, remember this, and it feels like the way this game is constructed is to give you moments like this, which is fine. That's what this game is at this point. I'm not surprised. But like honestly, like I think I would rather if the whole thing didn't happen. But
like like the wild thing is that like because I did, I mean, Omar, I mean, like, you know, over the course of a day I probably think about you maybe like at least 4 times, you know, just like, oh damn,
thank
Omar,
you.
what a guy, you know what I'm
Same
saying?
with you, Kevin. Always thinking about
I
you.
appreciate it.
No problem.
Always on the mind, always on the mind. But like I was thinking a lot about, because like that's what kind of like obviously I was alluding to, like going into this, like I think this is where we're gonna have disagreements, and like I see where you're coming from, Omar. Like I always saw it, but as this game progresses, like I see it more and more now. Why someone might not like these flashbacks in this game, because like it's almost like in a way it's like, okay, like what could Snake have done that could have been fresh and new and different and like more like challenging, more like what could have been more interesting for an older version of Snake to deal with, as opposed to going back to his past, which I think one could take away like, oh, that's almost like the easy way to like love this game, right? Like just off of nostalgia, and like the way this game like definitely is, you know, rooted in nostalgia, right? I was thinking about that a lot last night, and like why I ultimately think that this game still works for me so powerfully is because there was still plenty of fresh new things in this game up to this point, even though admittedly, of course, this whole act, there's almost like there is original things in this act, but it is of course rooted in a ton of nostalgia that like is a lot better for someone that has played MGS1 as opposed to someone that, you know, for some reason hasn't and is playing this game, right? And like then that whole conversation, you know, goes into like, well, aren't you expected to play through MGS 1, 2, and 3 before 4? Isn't that kind of the intent? There is that as well, right? Is it fair to ask a player of that? You know, I think that's perhaps up for debate, right? But I think ultimately, like, I get what you're saying, where it's like it does feel like very fan servicey, right? And like it is in a way the, you know, episode 7, where I know a lot of people and completely valid, like did not like episode 7 because it was so much like a piece of Star Wars movie that we already had before with A New Hope, right? And there's so many cues that call back to that. But I think just the prospect of like this game has given me Snake in a very modern setting, doing something very different than what he's usually doing. This game made me do a stealth mission in the middle of a very active battlefield. I thought that was very interesting, and like I feel like we've seen so many new things that like I was okay with going back to the Shadow Moses and like going back to that and exploring that, right? But I definitely feel what you're saying though, Omar. I like honestly do. After this, like the first episode, I was like, like I don't know, like maybe it's because he's played it before and like I could totally see that, right? But now I think I fully, and not that I was saying your point was invalid at all, but like now I see more of the validity of your point for sure.
Yeah, Omar is 100% right in the fact that this game was constructed to, you know, evoke nostalgia. Like Hideo Kojima wasn't making this game and being like, oh, we should also go back to Shadow Moses. He was like, we should go back to Shadow Moses. How do we do that in the story? That's how these things are told. So that's completely true, and I 100% respect that because that's just like a factual thing. But for me, I feel like and this game is just so fan servicey, it's not even funny. But for me, it works because in the same way that for me, at least, it works in The Force Awakens, I feel like this game respects the history and treats the franchise with such reverence. And I feel like an example of fan service not working because it's very cheap is Solo, which I've talked about, where it's like, what's Han Solo's last name? Or where did he get his gun? It's like, we don't need to know this. And these are just ways to break the fourth wall in a way. But like returning to the Millennium Falcon and Han Solo saying like we're Chewie, we're home, right? It's treating the past with reverence, and it also makes sense for the story that they're telling. And even though this game was constructed to bring us back to Shadow Moses, I think having Rex being there and being before the system and SOP makes sense in a good enough way for the game to justify returning to Shadow Moses. And for me personally, like, I think fan service can work when done correctly. And for me, I think this game utilizes fan service in a really good way. It also makes sense for the story that they're telling, even though it was totally like, we need to get to Shadow Moses because it'll be cool. Yeah. But I think they nailed it at the end of the day.
Yeah, because I think, like, the reason I asked about the flashbacks throughout the rest of the game is because I honestly, playing through this, I didn't really have a problem with the callbacks here, but like, I think it's because they've been doing callbacks the entire game. Because I asked if it would be like less impactful, because like, honestly, I feel like if you cut out all the other callbacks with like the press X's throughout the rest of the game, I would have hated this. Like, because it's just all of a sudden it's like, I get it, I'm already here, you know. Like, I do think peppering it throughout the game so far, it's like, I'm just used to this, I'm expecting this. But yeah, Jack, I think your justification for it too, of like, it makes sense that Rex would be before the SOP, so like we can get here. Yes, I'm cool with that, but I do think that like, it's what you said of like, they just were sitting around a table and they were like, wouldn't it be cool if we just like went there again? And then they just did it, because like, it has, I think Kevin brought this up of just like something about like seeing Snake here again, of like, there's really no character reason for Snake to be here again. Like, he's not confronting anything. Like, the supporting cast kind of is, like Otacon is to a degree and Naomi is, but like, Snake kind of made his peace with Shadow Moses, you know. And like, for him being the driving force, like, it feels like there is more interesting things you could do, where you could probably have gone in a different place. Clearly, Rex is not the only version of Metal Gear that is workable without the SOPs. Like, Ocelot Liquid was driving Metal Gear Ray, you know. Like, we could have gone to the remnants of the Big Shell or something. So like, I do think it was a nostalgia play. If it wasn't in there, I don't think the game would really lose anything narratively.
Yeah.
But the reasons they gave for being there because of Rex was enough for me to be cool with it. And plus, I did really like seeing the reconstruction. I do think that's just a cool thing, because I haven't played Twin Snakes, but I think Shadow Moses is, again, part of what makes MGS1 so iconic. So seeing that fully realized with 3D and having the same vents like everywhere and all the little things like that, where I know that game well enough to try and find cool things here, was enough for me. But it is absolutely nostalgia, and I'm curious, like, I think there's a world where the game could be better off if we didn't do Shadow Moses again. I still liked it, but yeah.
Yeah, like, there was one thing too that, like, I'm gonna ask myself this question like after I beat MGS4, and I'm gonna be very interested in like the answer to this question. And I think it's either gonna really tell and ring true, like, if Omar has been spitting the facts here, right? And as that is, when I walk away from this game, is the most memorable thing about this game gonna be Shadow Moses? And if that is a yes, I think that might lend itself more to Omar's point of view, being a little bit more of the way that I might feel, where it's like, I loved MGS4, I'm loving it right now, I think it's great, I've thought it was great this whole entire time, right? But am I gonna think back to doing a stealth mission in a battlefield and that working, and that being like a new fresh thing that MGS4 brought, at least that I feel like? Or am I going to remember MGS4 because of how incredible it was to go through Shadow Moses again and like see the after effects of this island that I haven't been to in 9 years, etc. Right? Like, I think the answer to that question is really going to be interesting, you know? And like, I think I'm going to wait to actually answer that. Like, I'm going to give myself a few weeks or so just to really kind of let it set in. Like, maybe at the end of the series. You know what? I'm gonna write that down.
Okay.
What is the most memorable part of MGS4 when we do the last episode? You know, I'm gonna write down. But yeah, I'm really interested to hear that answer.
Well, I appreciate that everyone here gets me. I don't have to argue. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I know it was a little bit not like combative, but like I definitely didn't fully see the scope of what you were trying to say. I think it was like at the end of the first episode. I think it was that like you were like, I can't believe we're fighting Liquid and Ocelot again. Liquid slash Ocelot. I think that was it, or maybe it was something after that. I forgot which one, but it was early on, and I was like, okay, interesting. But now I see.
No, I mean, to be honest, like, I mean, I feel conflicted half the time as well because, like, you know, I'll jump to this real quick, but like, yeah, I'm a little boy, and that Rex versus Ray fight is still fucking awesome,
Yeah.
even if it's so
yeah,
stupid.
it
Like, it's
hell
cool,
yeah, it is.
But like,
Hell yeah, absolutely.
you know, so much of this game I feel like is really executed super well, and like, you know, the direction, like action front, and always makes me happy in that sense. But then when I remember how we get to some specific places, I'm like, but yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting game for sure.
So why don't we talk about the vamp fight, because that is pretty much right after a couple extra rooms of exploring the base. The vamp fight, I'll lead with this. Is this better than the vamp fight in 2?
No,
No.
absolutely
No.
not.
No.
Okay,
No.
sorry, Christian.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. Do you think it is
I think it's more engaging.
more engaging?
I thought this fight sucked, to be honest.
I mean, engaging in a way that like how do you engage with him? Like, how do you grab this man again? How do you grab an MGS4? I don't know.
Did you see
my
that
God.
Google post I posted in here?
Yeah.
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 Because I literally like did the same thing. Like I was like doing that, and I was like died once. I was like, all right, fuck this.
Yeah.
What happened in your chat?
Oh my God. Chat was like, Kev, I think you have to grab him when he's at 0 health, but you have to have the syringe equipped, which I did not have equipped. And then you have to also make sure this was in previous games. I just forgot at this point. You gotta not have a weapon equipped to be able to effectively grab him. I think that's also a part of it too. So it was the amalgamation of like remembering all of that. I haven't grabbed a man. Pause. I haven't grabbed a man in MGS4 since like, I don't think I ever grabbed anyone in MGS4 yet, ever, up to this point. It was never asked of me at all. So yeah, I thought that, yeah, because at first I was like, man, are we really gonna have to like run him down? Like it says like a multi-tier fight where he's gonna be giving me different like enemy moves after every wave I bring him down. Like I thought it was something like that, but then it was like 5 minutes. I'm like, you know, guys, I don't think I'm making progress here. I don't think I'm doing anything to this man. So yeah, and also they highlight one thing here that I didn't highlight when they first said this. I think they only said it in the fight. No, in the conversation in South America when they're at their lab type thing before you fight the first BB. The like, yeah, that whole conversation. That Vamp isn't anything special. Like he just has nail machines that like heals him very quickly. I thought that was kind of like that felt like midichlorians, where it's like I kind of wish it was more mystical. Yeah, like I kind of wish it wasn't like, oh, he just has this technology and like there you go. I wish it was. I don't know how that makes sense, but I almost wish he was just a vampire, just randomly. Like I don't know. Like I thought that would have been maybe that would have made way less sense for sure, and like would have been probably way more bothersome. But
I mean, Naomi mentions that the nano machines amplify his natural healing ability. I don't know if she was talking about like just like a normal human, how they heal across time, but like to me it came up because he still's got like the sharp teeth and the long tongue and everything. So like, you know,
damn. So is he really a vampire?
He licks blood all the time, unless he's just a
he
freak.
does lick blood.
He cosplays as a vampire essentially.
Yeah.
And that tongue be looking crazy. Yeah.
I think he saw Twilight and was like, I'm gonna be this guy. Like that's it.
Yep.
I want to point out, I think you saying nano machines are like midichlorians is so funny because I think they totally are.
I mean, it's like I just wish that I don't know. Like I don't know. It's like, sometimes I just kind of want a vampire in the game. Why not? Let's just make him be a vampire. Why not? But yeah.
I think they get used to explain like almost a lot.
Yeah,
in a way, like
a lot, and it's like, well, okay, all right, yeah. So, yeah, that's what I thought. I just forgot to bring up that previous podcast. I also love when we see the well, not love because it's kind of sad, but where Frank Yeager unfortunately got hit up against the wall. Like you kind of see that on that wall in that room. I love when we have the Mark III and Snake. I think no, Ryan's not here yet. But when we have Snake and the Mark III like going up the elevator in the same vein that Rex did in the first game, rising up that elevator shaft, like I thought that was super cool. But yeah,
Ryan.
Yeah, I say Ryan. I meant to say Raiden. I don't know if I said that a little bit too fast, but
no, I should have caught that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I thought I'm like, wait, was Raiden? He doesn't. He's not there quite yet when we go up the elevator, but he'll be here shortly. Yeah.
Christian, I want to hear your thoughts about this fight because it seems like you liked it a little bit more than we did.
Yeah, because I did take him out lethally first, and then he got knocked down. And I was like, okay, it's not going to work. Let me try tranking him, because I thought it was just buying time. I thought Otacon said, hey, I need time, so I was like, okay, I probably just have to defend long enough for him to do this thing. So I killed him once, he got back up, I was like, okay, expected, it's Vamp. I'll try to kill him again. It kept going. And the second time he got up, I was like, I wonder, because the killing, he'll get back up, I wonder if I have to, trank him. And then I pulled out the trank gun because I was like, okay, maybe if he just gets knocked out, he can't fix that. He's gonna sleep. And then halfway through getting his stamina bar low, Otacon was like, I don't know what we're gonna do or something like that. And he mentioned, I don't know if he mentioned a specific thing, but he said nothing's working. So I pulled up my inventory because I think a scene prior, maybe Snake put another injection in. And I had the syringe equipped. So, and I looked at it and said to use on another person, grab them and hit triangle. And I was like, oh, so the syringe is used to nullify nanomachines. And if that's what's affecting Vamp, let me try it. So I knocked him out with the trank gun. He went down. I walked behind him and I was able to grab him as he was getting up. And then I just did it. So the process of finding that out I liked because I didn't think it was just hey, you have to do a specific thing. I thought it was time based, and through getting through that, I ended up finding the solution. And I do think it's a better fight than the Vamp 1 and 2 because at least in this one, it's not just every other fight in 2. It had something to it where he was very agile. I was having to wait for my shots. I used the railgun a couple times because we just got that from the last fight. I was like, maybe this will just fuck him up. So it didn't take too long either because I was using heavy firepower. So the process to getting there, I thought was more engaging than just wait for his opening, pop, 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 wait for his opening, pop, 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 and then he just sinks in heavy water. I thought it was a cooler ending as well to his whole role in this game.
I had an issue where my memory of this fight was making me forget how to play it. Where it was I remember that Raiden comes into this fight, and I remember that whole split screen thing. And I was like, okay, I must just have to stall him until Raiden gets here. So I did that for 15 minutes, where he kept getting back up. And I was like, I don't think he's coming, but yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those things where it's very. I feel like I would have had a similar, because it's so funny because they put this in the MGS1 flashback scene that it definitely feels like an MGS1 mechanic where it's it was one of the things if I wasn't streaming MGS1, I don't think I would have ever figured out the codec code that's on the box to call. I forgot who you're calling, but that thing or the controller Psycho Mantis thing. Like, I don't think I would have figured that out without Google if I wasn't streaming, right? In a similar vein here, I don't think I ever would have figured out. I have to grab him and then press triangle to do the syringe. I don't think I would have ever figured that out. So, like, I'm not that, like, up in arms about it just because I had chat and, like, they were, like, because they were remembering, too. Because, like, chat was like, oh, man, like, okay, I played this a few years back. Like, I think you had to grab him or something like that. And I think you have to equip the syringe. Like, we were puzzling it together. But, I don't think I would have figured this out naturally. No way. There's no shot. I would have never figured it out.
Yeah, this is something that grabbing him and syringing him was something that I totally forgot about. And I feel like because this is the second time you fight Vamp in the series, I believe. And the last time was in Metal Gear Solid 2 where the gameplay was much different. I feel like the jump to full 3D, move the camera with the right stick, third-person shooter, did nothing for this game's boss fights. Because I don't think going forward or in this game, there's a single boss fight that I really enjoy that's in third person. Maybe one that I can think of that I really enjoy. But even though, like, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, like, didn't... Some of them were good, some of them weren't that great. I feel like the full jump to, having the right analog stick be your camera, I feel like it just makes all the boss fights super easy, unfortunately. And just all the new mechanics that you have at your disposal really just shows, like, oh yeah, it's just a lot easier to control. Because last time we fought Vamp, we were very limited in what we could do on the controller. And for me at least, I didn't love the Vamp fight from Metal Gear Solid 2, but I did like sticking in a corner, having him do his attacks, and then shooting him when you could. But for this, I think I shot him, like, there was certain points, because I'd had to get his stamina bar low a few times before I got it right. I would, like, headshot him once with the Mosin Nagant, and he'd be down. And I'm like, well, that could have been the fight, and it would have been super easy. So yeah, it's unfortunate that this game just doesn't have really any good boss fights, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll push back on here with this game is that, like, I think the highlights of the Metal Gear fights we've gone through so far, and mainly, like, the first game, are the ones where there is an engaging layer to it that isn't just shoot them when you can, you know? Which I think everything up until Vamp so far in this game has been. Because, like, in 2, Fat Man's the one where you have to be playing it smart. In 1, it's pretty much all of them. Like, Sniper Wolf is the gimmick, with, like, doing a sniper fight. Mantis is the capital G gimmick, you know. Raven is the maze. Even Jaeger is using the chaff grenades and stuff. Like, there's layers to that looks like you have to be thinking and, like, playing it that isn't just, like, wait for your shot. Where 2, everyone except Fat Man is wait for your shot, basically. 3, all of them, off the top of my head, are wait for your shot, with the exception of, like, the Fury had the best characterization of anybody in that game. And then, like, with here, so far, all the B&B units, with, like, maybe not the first one, but again, Night Vision breaks that fight, like, it's wait for your shot. Here, it's going back to what I like about the MGS1 fights, where it's like, it's not about just, like, pumping them full of bullets. It's like, okay, be strategic here. And I think in a similar way with, like, 1 doesn't always convey it perfectly. Like, I definitely, like, I don't know if I stumbled into that, because Otacon did say something that made me think, and I went into the inventory. But I think so far in this game, the solution to this fight, I think I've liked more than any of the other fights we've done in the game so far.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
To an extent, though, it is just pumping them full of lead and then going forward the syringe. Mm-hmm. But also, I wish they conveyed the syringe a little bit more, because they talked about it, like, a couple times throughout the game. And I feel like there are certain mechanics in games that make you feel smart for figuring them out. And for you, Christian, it seems like it was that situation. But for me, I felt really stupid because this game didn't like tee you up to remember that. And it was very, very much like I had to look it up. And I was like, well, I feel dumb for having to look it up. But for me, I think that's the game's fault for not having that top of mind for when you're playing this. And Omar sharing the Metal Gear Solid 4 H in the first suggestion is how to defeat Vamp. I feel like that sort of drives that point home where it's like, yeah, like who would really think of that? Because the game just doesn't reward you or doesn't like set you up to reward you to think about that. At least in my opinion.
Here's how I think they could have fixed it, right? Instead of us seeing the syringe as something that is an action that we don't have to do, because it's always like a mini like CG cutscene type thing when we see Snake, kind of have his like convulsions or whatever it is, and he stabbed himself like by himself, and we have nothing to do there. I would love it if like that was almost like a pseudo like, you know what? Bring in the mechanic from like MGS3 where you're doing the bone wrapping and all that good stuff and all that like all that jazz. Like have us do a quick time event where we're putting the syringe in Snake when he's doing that convulsion thing. Like I think portraying it like, yeah, like this is something that is a tangible thing, right? That like you control, even though it is an item and like maybe it's my fault. I just never had it equipped. I'm not sure if there's ever an instance where it's really required like for you to equip it. As far as this point, right?
I
like
think it resets your stress because I've definitely used it before.
Okay. So then, you know what? It might just be a me thing. That's what I figured. Like, okay, all right. Then I guess I kind of negate everything I said right there. Could be just a me thing. I just wasn't utilizing the syringe really at all before this point, and it was just stranded in my inventory. I just never really used it. It could be also my difficulty. Could be that as well. So I'll give a little slack there, but I think like maybe involving the syringe a little bit more in gameplay previous to this point, maybe it might have helped the communication, because I get like if it's like, hey, we tried to tell you this when you always see Snake whip out the syringe constantly when his nail machines are, I guess, acting up or whatever, like that should have been your cue to know that. If that's it, okay, but yeah, I don't think it was that greatly like projected to the player. You know what I'm saying? But
I think one thing that third person camera also does is like I think Vamp looks really stupid fighting him in this fight. Just him running around at you from every direction is just a little lame. That's all I wanted to say. I think in a lot of ways that Metal Gear Solid 2 fight, where it's that tiny ass room, especially with that pool in the middle of it, that's got the density of I don't know what. Like it's a little lame, I guess. That's all.
So after we take care of Vamp, Raiden does show up and our role changes. We get a split screen sequence where, similar to I thought of Guitar Hero, where like there's a shit going on in the background. I can't focus on that. I'm just looking at what's coming my way.
Yeah.
We have to take out suicide geckos. This is the thing I hated about this sequence. I
hated the sequence.
Yeah.
I hated this. It's like you're like, I want to see this rematch so bad. Like, why would you do this to me? Like this is horror. I'm like, this is the worst. Like, chat was like, oh, Kev, just like kill one and like look at the other, and then just go back and forth. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to see the fight. Like and I appreciate like when you're done and you get like that really quick like swipe and it goes full screen, like, but I didn't get to see the fight. Like, are you kidding me right now? Come on now. Like, how are you gonna show me a cool 1v1 that they had in the beginning that had me going crazy versus me not being able to watch it because I had to take out these stupid geckos? Like, nah, I did not like that. I did not appreciate it.
Omar, is this going back to the multiple pieces about stripping the player of their role for Metal Gear Solid 2 because it's involving Raiden? Is that what this
Of
is?
course, I didn't think about that. That's funny though, man.
That's what
Metal Gear Solid
first
2
thought,
is so good. No, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't get the satisfaction of killing Vamp. We had to watch it happen.
Oh my god, you're so right. You're so right.
That's
Man,
all I was
maybe-
thinking this whole time.
So
maybe he
bad.
does get Metal Gear Solid 2. Holy shit. What was I talking about? Yeah, I died like 5 times here. I was really frustrated. Like,
Man.
I kept buying the shots from Drebin.
Yeah.
The what is it? The railgun shots, but
Yeah.
every once in a while, like one of those things would just get too close and just go off on me, and I was like, oh fuck. But yeah, I think if you watch that Raiden versus Vamp fight, like, it's actually not that cool what's happening. Like, it's a lot of like, I'm gonna make some fodder, so the what you see in the periphery looks pretty cool and intense, but like in terms of like choreography, I think it's like a kind of a standard, like it'd be like watching a fight without the sound or something, just kind of awkward, I guess.
Yeah.
Like 10 it's in full cap. Like, I'm sorry, I had to cut you off. I'm sorry. Like 10 it's in full cap. Like, what if like they just kind of ran out of budget and it was intended to be like this like really cool elaborate fight like the first one, but they kind of went overboard on the first one. So it's like, all right, well, let's just kind of distract them because this doesn't look that finished or whatever, or that flashy. I don't know.
That part of what you're saying is why I think it was constructed this way, because we already got a fight between Vamp and Raiden this game, and it was pretty brutal. And I feel like they got to a point here where they were like, I guess we could do another cutscene of them fighting, but I guess that would be repetitive. So the thinking there was probably, all right, we could do another fight at the same time of Snake fighting someone, so you get the sense that they're fighting, but you're not getting hit with that repetition. But Omar's right. I think it's I was watching a playthrough after I played through this today, and just so I could refamiliarize myself, because I usually play like a week before we record. And yeah, it's just knife back and forth, knife back and forth, and it's really not all that interesting. But I think you fighting makes that fight more pressing and engaging, because it feels like you're involved with that fight tangentially. But yeah, I feel like they backed themselves into a corner in a way, and they were just like, well, I guess this is what we're doing.
And like another thing too, like it felt a little bit like Star Wars-esque, where we have this fight on the ground, right, with Snake and these geckos. We have Raiden versus Vamp, and then we have Otacon trying to take control of the Metal Gear. Like, granted, we're not seeing what he's doing there, like we're not, but it seemed like it takes a little bit to get that to work. So it felt kind of like a Return of the Jedi, like 3-tier fight, where we have 3 altercations going on, all blending into the one thing. Like, so I guess that's a cool aspect of it, but I still wish I would have saw one of the fights for sure. I kind of wanted to see Luke and Vader, battle it out, and maybe I didn't want to be on Endor that much, So there's that.
The patented George Lucas 3 planes of action.
True, absolutely.
I can't stop thinking about what you said, Christian. I think you're right.
No, because that's honestly, that was the whole thing. When Vamp fell, I was like, I feel no satisfaction, and I'm mad I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I like killing people in games. He got me, and then because this whole time, Omar, I was thinking of you in this entire fight, dude. Like as that you do that entire sequence that is frustrating with Vamp. Because before I wasn't saying it was a good fight. I just think it's the best gimmick we've had in the game so far.
Right.
Because I think the best Metal Gear fights do have a gimmick to them. And then you're robbed of the satisfaction of finally defeating Vamp after all these games. You just have to watch it happen with the guy who's super cool now that you hated before. He's the one that gets the killing blow, and you barely even see that he gets the killing blow. Because, I look over, it's like, oh, he already sliced him. And he's just falling now. I think it was really intentional, dude. That was, in my mind that entire time.
You could be right, because I saw Vamp die, and I was like, this is fucking lame.
Yeah.
But, oh my god. I think maybe it is cool, actually. I don't know. I think all right, let's take that as one of the games. One of the ways this game respects Metal Gear Solid 2, and I think we can put that next to also the fact that Solidus was right about the future being scary.
Yes.
I think maybe this game is cool. Actually, I don't know. Talk to me next week.
All right. And after that happens, Vamp falls, mimicking Solidus. I honestly thought Raiden was gonna, because he did like the flick to get the blood off his sword. I thought he was just gonna throw the sword right down on Vamp, because he's like, last time I didn't finish it, this time I will. You know, like.
Oh, can you imagine if you just flick that and then like the katana propels faster the fall? Oh, dude, that'd be cool.
And then Naomi shows up, who I guess she has a thing with Vamp. We didn't really talk about that much, and like, I feel like.
Dude, they fucked Naomi up so bad.
How do you like?
Yeah,
I'm like, wait, why is Otacon even crying? I'm like, I mean, like, I get it, you know, like, okay, I would call myself, yeah, like
same situation.
I get it, but
it's like he didn't grow.
Yeah, like
it's like she played like she.
I was laughing.
I don't know
when he was weeping and I was mashing X and I saw Emma and Sniper Wolf and he was like, I was ready to love again. I was like,
dude, yeah. And he's fucking Wally.
Like I felt bad when he started bringing up the whole like prospect of like whenever he's ready to accept love into his life, it just ends in death, right? Like I get that.
No, and then
and that made, but it's like.
And then a minute later, he's like, "No, Snake, you're right.
Which is like the same thing he did in Metal Gear Solid 2, right? Yeah. Like, except in Metal Gear Solid 2, he said that and then went into the locker room and just cried to himself, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they really want to make you feel for Naomi's death with like the big bombastic music playing and like
the cancer.
It's almost
reveal.
as if like a legendary video game
cancer
character
reveal.
just died in front of you.
Dude.
Yeah, that too. Like, there's so much with the storytelling in this game where it's like, oh yeah, this is a thing right now, and it's happening. And we're gonna explain that to you right now. And that was the cancer bit, and it was you're right, it's really bad.
Like, Naomi,
and it just I don't feel anything for the character.
Naomi, I thought was such a cool character in Metal Gear Solid 1 because it's like, oh, surprise, she has this real like scorned history with Snake because he got her brother killed. Like, it was super cool, that reveal, and I totally understood her motivations and everything. I feel like this game just botched her so hard because like I would be okay if like we leave off with the Vamp fight, she says like everything, her big reveal, and then we just move on. But then she kills herself. Like, why?
Which I'm like,
why
fuck
did you do that? Like, I was so lost.
Exactly,
like,
bro. I had the same thought.
The only thing that, like, this is headcanon at this point. Like, earlier in the physical scene, she's talking about how, like, Vamp is her other sin. So, like, she says that she's a corpse walking the earth because of her cancer, and the nanomachines are keeping it at bay. So does she just want to die, and she's just okay, like, she's ready to die once her final sins have been addressed? Like, is that it? Because I didn't get there naturally. I made that jump myself. Like, that's a big jump, I think.
I made that same jump. I'm like, okay, like, is she like, is ending her nail machines the final, like, is that how she feels that she's gonna get peace within herself, like with the nail machines being inside of her, like from that perspective, like, okay, but it's like,
is that what her motivation was the whole time? Why she was flip-flopping all the time? Because she just wanted to ruin all her stuff? Like, why could she have not just stuck Vamp with the thing before the fight happened? Like, I didn't
understand. Yeah,
I
don't know why she was on. She was playing. It seems like she was playing both sides, but by the end of her conclusion, I was like, was she? Like, why did she join us and then go back to them and then gave us the exposition dump at the end? They robbed Naomi of any good characterization in this game. I was very confused by the end of this.
I was gonna ask you guys. I'm like, do we know why she flip flopped? Is there like a one sentence answer of why? It just doesn't exist.
I don't
know if we get it. Like, because I don't know if we didn't figure out what was up with the USB stick. Maybe we get that at some point.
What the?
But like
that too.
I really think, and again, we could see more what her true intent was next week, but like I feel like I'm reaching so hard on Naomi, a character I really liked in MDS1, but now it's like, seriously, like there's all these twists and turns. Like, if she truly is just using everybody to atone for the things that she felt she did wrong, and she is prepared to stop living as soon as she's dealt with those things, make that clear, because now you have this like this weird entanglement with Otacon, and then everything with Sunny. It's like, is she like finding a thing like to live for? Like, she's like, tell Sunny I'm proud of her, and then she puts the final inject. Like, tell yourself, if you care about her, go. You're a person. Like, act like Jaeger did for you for her or something. Like, I feel like there's so many paths they could have taken with Naomi that would have been sensible, and I'm just lost.
Christian,
They could
thank you
have. Sorry. What?
Sorry. Thank you for using the word entanglement.
Thank you.
I really
Sure.
appreciate that. I heavily appreciate that, Christian. Carry on.
No, I think it'd be much better if Naomi wasn't in here. And
Yeah.
same with honestly, like I feel like Vamp. Like, I think these characters showing up in here are the product of like, hey, let me give you the cool characters that you liked probably, but like I think Vamp is way lamer in this game than he was in Metal Gear Solid 2.
100%. I was feeling that too.
And they maybe that's because like they try to explain his stuff more or something. I don't really know. But even like, Snake and Vamp never really had a personal thing. It's weird that he's on this journey, I think.
Yeah, like
do
you think... Sorry to cut you off, Kevin. Do you think...
No,
it's like,
go ahead. Yeah.
Do you think that there was that loose end with Vamp where he had a much more of a connection to Raiden and Otacon, where like this game potentially being like the big finale for all these threads of like, hey, we just have to address Vamp, and that's a big character thing for Otacon and Raiden, because Naomi's the one who wants Otacon to like finish Vamp off so he can die because of what he did to Emma, and Raiden wants revenge because he feels like he failed everybody because he let Vamp hurt Emma. So like, you're right, Snake doesn't have a thing here, but like I can see Vamp being in here to service those two characters, but I feel like we never get a moment to like reflect on them. Maybe we do in the briefing, but like that, like, yeah, Vamp I think is here for the side characters more than anything.
Yeah.
But even like I feel like in Metal Gear Solid 2, like, I feel like Raiden definitely felt bad about that Emma thing, but I don't remember him feeling so personal about Vamp. Like, maybe I'm wrong on this.
Yeah.
But in this, it feels like it is like, no, he is my arch nemesis. Like, I gotta.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, like, is he the only boss that got away?
Yeah, he's
Question
the
mark?
only one from
Right?
Big Show.
So I think like that's how I took it. Like it's like the last standing obstacle of Big Shell
But he did
for
die.
the most part.
He falls in that water. I don't think he comes back from Metal Gear Solid 2, right?
That's fair. That's fair.
All
right.
I think he could have just
I guess
kept
that's
him
fair.
dead.
Yeah.
Like to Raiden, for all intents and purposes, like he would have construed him as dead at that point.
Yeah.
There was no reason for him to
No.
think that he wasn't. Okay.
Well,
I-
similar to MGS3, where you look to the left of the last cutscene and you see Ocelot doing his shooties. There's a trophy where when Raiden sees Rose, if you look to the left, you see Vamp being a vampire. You get a trophy.
Wait, in Metal Gear Solid 2?
Yep.
Really?
When is that? Oh, is that
It's
like
the final cutscene
so Vamp is out
Vodka
walking the
scene.
streets?
in the crowd. Yeah.
Oh shit! Okay, never mind. It's cool. It's cool.
That's neat.
That's like also questionably
neat.
canon, where it's more
Yeah.
of like that's like an Easter egg rather than like
That's neat,
an
that's
actual
neat.
film. But yeah.
Yeah. So,
Do you think I have one more thing?
Mhm.
I have one more thing. Is that actually it's very serious. Do
Oh,
you think Kojima was like, I am going to make Naomi less cool in Metal Gear Solid 4. I will make her an American. Do you think that's what happened?
that's part of it, probably.
I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
why not? Why not?
Cool.
why
Because didn't they do that with Liquid also?
Yes, they so did.
Mhm.
Fuck.
Naomi used to be British, right?
Yeah.
Just like Liquid.
Damn. Yeah,
Also-
yeah, just yeah.
This week, also I had this question because if Naomi's buddy with Liquid Ocelot, was she? I don't know if it was ever revealed in 1. I could be forgetting, but like, was she in league with him in 1, or was she just helping the government and used it as an angle against Snake? Because like, when did that connection happen?
She was helping Ocelot in
right. Okay. Yes,
MGS 1.
Yes.
So like my sense after Act 3 was that she was in league with the Patriots in some way or another.
Yeah.
And like, to me, going through this game, I truly don't remember if she gets any resolution in Act 5. So like, to me, I'm thinking that maybe she was acting on the Patriots' behalf throughout this whole thing, and maybe we get some resolution to that in Act 5. But I agree with Omar. I feel like her and Vamp's inclusion in this game is just distracting at this point, and it doesn't feel satisfying or doesn't feel needed, really, for their characters to exist in this world. And they kind of botched it in a lot of ways, and I didn't really like where these characters ended up. Felt just totally unneeded.
I've had 2 thoughts. One, I think it'd be really cool if they put out like a Shadow Moses like VR experience.
I want it.
Just to explore, you know.
No, give me gun.
Just to see the damage, or I mean, playable. Why not? Absolutely, sure. But that was a side thing. But I think that I never anticipated like the hardest thing to comprehend out of probably that's not true. There's other things that I don't fully understand, but like Naomi's motivations, I think, are the most like, I just do not get you. Like I'm trying. I don't know. I don't get it. Like, does it have? Because then it's like, she can't be fully bad because she feels something for Sunny, right? Like, she even says like, hey, you know, tell her like, I guess, good job on the eggs or something like that. I don't know. Like, yeah, something like that, right? Like that it transcends like, oh, like, you know, be well. Like, there was a personal like, quote unquote, like inside joke or like, you know, like thing that they went through together. So like, there has to be some deeper reason. But then again, if they give me a deeper reason to why, and like finally contextualize why Naomi was a flip-flopper and all that and did everything that she did, like, I feel like, and I fear that it might be, and pretty much I'm expecting it to feel like, from my point of view, like how Drebin explains the BB unit.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
And it's like, that would have been great to know before you made Naomi do all these questionable things that you had me questioning all up into this point where I'm supposed to just rectify it and just be okay with it. Like, I don't know, that's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they do that, I'm like 99% sure it's not gonna work unless there's some miraculous reason, which I don't know if there will be.
There's something I thought of when I was playing through this when she brought up her cancer. Immediately I jumped to, and this was the same way it was brought up in this particular project, the room, Tommy Wiseau's The Room, where the mom walks in, sits down and talks to the woman and goes, the doctors came back, the prognosis, I definitely have cancer. It was the same way. I was like, wow, Tommy Wiseau writing the same way Hideo Kojima was writing, apparently.
Okay, I was like, they must have brought this up about her, right?
Nope.
Like, this had to have been. I'm like, this. I didn't say on stream because I'm like, there's no way this can be like
no, that's a reveal,
a brand new thing.
Yeah.
I'm like,
didn't even hint at it. Didn't even.
I'm like, Kevin. I'm like, Kevin, you must have missed it. You missed so many things that you think you pay attention to, and like, you're just not. So let me ask the guys there on. That was the first time it was ever mentioned.
Definitely have cancer.
I mean,
that's
like,
it.
she uses the injection throughout the game, like in her message when she's like, rescue me. Excuse me. She injects herself, but like, that could have been for anything, you know, because like Snake's popping that off to like not get affected by the bell sound that just makes him throw up, right? Like, that could have been for anything, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jack bringing up The Room made me think of another great fix Metal Gear Solid 4 could have used, maybe in a remaster. Every time Drebin gives you that speech on the B&B unit, Snake should just go, "What the story, Drebin?" Wouldn't that
Wow,
be
great
awesome?
story, Drebin. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Oh man.
Honestly, Wazao and Kojima are very similar. I never noticed it until now. But you're so right. You're so
No, 'cause
right.
Apparently.
I mean, what Kevin said about like joking that it's like he's gonna look at it the same way he looks at the B&B unit. Like I was gonna like joke, is Naomi like secretly a B&B, because they always talk about like, oh, she's so hot and she's really smart and she's super playing the game, you know.
Damn.
And then are we just gonna get her board
Damn.
drop next week? Like, I don't know,
Oh,
because
God.
it honestly it just sucks what they did to her character. I think because she was a highlight, but.
I might be like conceptually like there's this idea that you guys were talking about with Raiden the other week, but like, and I think Christian you even mentioned with like Ocelot. It feels like every character in this game is tragic in a way, where it's like, is that just this game's thing? Like everyone has this dark and deep backstory, and like, I don't even get what the point is, to be honest. Like, well, eventually, I'm assuming it's going to lead to something, some revelation.
Because
But yeah,
like week 1 or 2, I think I remember bringing it up. I'll see if I have it in my notes. I think it's when they showed the Call of Duty montage, right? Where we're all like, it's just COD. I think this game's thing, if it's saying anything about anything, it's just about video games and war and PTSD and trauma and like not addressing that stuff, because literally you have people masking trauma to keep fighting because they think it's fun. Like,
Yeah.
they introduced that, I think it was at the end of Act 1. Yeah, when Meryl was talking about like the way everything works with the soldiers and everything. Like, they introduced it there. There's the stress thing. They talk about like, they don't address it this way, but like they're talking about mental health on the battlefield and stuff like that in ways that I don't think are like, they're very cliche, but I think that's what the game's thing is, honestly, Omar. Like, they made Naomi I wouldn't call her a tragic character. They did their best to make her fit that mold, where I think Ocelot, genuinely, I honestly think that Ocelot is a tragic character looking at his arc throughout the game so far, and what I remember we see with what's left, right? So I think that was earned. I'm holding on to the one justification on why I think the Raiden thing makes sense, because I think I remember that. And I also think that's similar, right? But like everything with Naomi and what you mentioned, I think it's probably just this game building towards everyone having like a little sad flavor to them, you know, like Colonel's not talking to Meryl anymore because he married a 28-year-old, right? Like, aren't you sad for their relationship? Like, I think that's this game's thing. Like, they're really going hard on that.
that tweet for Metal Gear Solid 5 where Kojima says, "You will be ashamed of your words and deeds," about Quiet's design. Almost feels like it could be applied to like everything in this game. Is like him giving you something, you get mad at it, but you'll be ashamed of what you said later on. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
So we wrap up this sequence. We learn that there's a big boat called the Ark leaving Shadow Moses. Very biblical.
I was like,
and he calls
shit.
it Moses in that one scene.
He does.
So you get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
So there's the Patriots Ark that is invulnerable to the system that just exists. I don't think Liquid made it. I think it just existed and then he stole it. But it is off base, offshore, underwater, I think, next to Shadow Moses, while they were transferring the railgun from Rex to the ship. But before we get the reveal of the ship, we have to escape, once again exploding Shadow Moses, through piloting Metal Gear Rex. Now, once again, narrative be damned, I think this is very fun, and I loved this. I was smiling the whole time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Like it. Like I know. We keep bringing up like Star Wars, references, but like this, in a way, like felt like it felt like Poe and Finn fighting their way off of the TIE fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like something that like
Did you see that? Did you see that?
Yeah, like something like, damn, we aren't supposed to like necessarily as Snake enjoy the sight of Rex, right? Or even the prospect of like piloting Rex, you know? But here we are. And we're doing it. Snake is old. There's, you know, the Mark III with Otacon, and Raiden is just riding on the back of it. Like I've had a lot of moments like in this game of like, I can't believe we're here. Like I can't believe this is where the story has taken us all the way from the first Metal Gear. And this is definitely one of those scenes. Like I loved it. Like, and instantly I thought of Titanfall, and it definitely it's a lot more like Titanfall when we get to the fight later on. But it's like, damn. And then I'm like, damn, like, is this, because chat asked, like, is this where this has to be? I mean, like I'm not saying like other mech shooters haven't been a thing in the past before this, like, you know, before this. I'm sure there were. I just can't recall one. But
Kojima even made one.
Really?
Yeah, Zone of the Enders.
Oh, that's a mech game? I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. Like, yeah, I loved it. Mm-hmm. I loved it. I thought it was cool. That was very, very cool.
I think, yeah, I like the way Rex controls is really nice. Like, it's got weight to it. Mm-hmm. And as you brought up Zone of the Enders, but all of those mechs in there go super fast and fluid. Like, it's a much different kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you want Rex to feel heavy.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty boy. Cool. Mm-hmm.
And I like also that for a character moment, I do think it's neat that Otacon is able to basically reclaim Rex and use it for something for good, you know?
Ah, good point. Yeah, that's also a good thing.
If we're talking about some character arcs working here, I do think Otacon's does pay off, at least for, you know, his lineage and everything he talked about in 1. Like, maybe not his romantic stuff as a character in this arc, but in this act, but everything with him and, like, you know, his actual motivation since the first game, I thought had a good payoff here of just like reclaiming that.
Yeah, and that was a good payoff from him setting that up in the mission briefing, where he's like, I have to atone for my sins too. And yeah, you're right, totally right. He does that. I had a thought throughout this act, which I've sort of like gone back and forth with, but to me, and I'm sorry if the Force Awakens references are done to death, but I'm gonna keep doing them.
Keep it going, King.
It just keeps reminding me of that movie so much. But them bringing back Rex is very much like Starkiller Base in Episode 7. But at the same point, I'm like, well, the series is called Metal Gear Solid, and there's a Metal Gear in every Metal Gear Solid. So I guess they bring back the Death Star in every Metal Gear Solid. But I just thought that was funny.
Yeah. Also, like, I think like one last comment I have is that like I love that. Well, actually, two. Number one, was very impressed that the PS3 could compute that much explosion and like chaos going on with the Rex. I was like, that cell processor. Maybe it had its moments. You know, maybe it had its moments, because I was like, man, like I was pretty impressed that the PS3 was able to run that and somehow not crash. And like it chugged for sure, but yeah. I think it was. I thought it was gonna be worse, to be honest. I thought like if you'd have told me, yeah, Kev, they're gonna do this like enclosed space with a lot of explosion effects. You're piloting this big mech. I won't tell you which Rex, you know, right now, but like this is something that will happen in like MGS4. Like I would have been pretty shocked, to be honest. So like see that, strip the context of Rex and just show me that scene running on the PS3. I thought that was pretty impressive. Also, I like how with that destruction that we saw, like it really does show like how powerful a Metal Gear is. Like, you know, like they were ripping through geckos like nothing, and like when you're as Snake, I don't know about you guys, but like the geckos were definitely a problem, and like definitely took a bit of effort to like take down. And the way Rex just plows through them like nothing, literally nothing, it was really showed how powerful Rex was, for sure.
And that's without nukes too.
Exactly. Yeah, that too. That too.
I wanna bring up one thing about you saying that this running the way it does. Like, I think this definitely is the worst frame rate of the game. but it makes it awesome, I think.
Dude, I don't know.
Like-
I honestly feel like I've experienced worse frame rate in this game than this. I don't know,
maybe.
I
man.
think
Like
Act 1
I
had
thought,
pretty bad frame rate.
yeah, like I thought there were way other areas where like the game chugged a lot more than what I would have thought like this would have chugged, but it definitely hiccuped and chugged, but like I just thought it was pretty smooth, all things considered. You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
Yeah, I feel like the really bad frame rate, like poor frame rate, makes the weight of it feel a little more impactful. I guess I don't know.
Good
Like
point. Yeah.
it feels like this would look gross if they remastered it and it was 60 frames.
Oh yeah.
That's all I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah,
Like
I bet.
they should do that, but it won't be as cool as this one moment here.
Yeah, I agree. I think it helps. One thing I feel like, because again, I watched this happen before playing it. The one thing I wish was handled a bit better, and I think they honestly could not have done this, but the sense of scale, like when I was outside, it felt like we were in a little miniature TV set of like a little town, kind of like it felt like something wasn't clicking of like how big these things should be, and like maybe it's because I was just running through most of those gecko, but like I feel like the separation of like how big this thing actually is didn't come across great. The power sure did, the controls sure did, everything else did. It was just like, I think piloting it and seeing it from like the camera perspective, I was like, isn't this thing supposed to be like 2 stories tall? Like I don't feel like that. I feel like it's like
That's a fair point,
That's fair.
actually.
yeah.
The scaling up, because I mean, like in the first Metal Gear, there's like 3 levels to even get to like the top.
Yeah.
You know.
And like
Yeah.
it's probably like
Good
you
point.
need 25 snakes to meet the height of Metal Gear Rex, right? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
What
it
you
seems more
need-
like 10. Yeah.
You need the game to go into split screen mode,
Mhm.
and you need to have Raiden doing his own thing on the side.
yes.
And then you can see, yeah. Because honestly, I don't know. Like, I feel like mech games always have this problem, right? I can't think of one that like Titanfall is really good because you get to see those mechs being huge when you're pilots, right?
Mhm.
But then when you get into one, it's like, all right, it makes the whole map feel way smaller. I feel like,
Yeah.
but
Like I always envisioned Rex bigger than like the average Titan in Titanfall, but the perspective and scale
Yeah.
in this game felt like Titanfall and looked like Titanfall when I was shown that Rex was a lot bigger than the average Titan in Titanfall for sure.
Yeah, because like honestly, I think the hallway it's fine. I think maybe I just didn't notice it too much. But when I was outside, I was like, "Is that a shipping container?" Like, oh no, that's a building. Like that doesn't feel right. Like it was just some level of separation there. But
Right.
Kevin, I do want to go back to see your reaction to this whole sequence because I'm sure you were loving it. But like seeing like you escape, right? You get outside, you're in Rex. I'm sure you're riding high. Then all of a sudden, fucking Metal Gear Ray pops out of the water, and it's like, I'm gonna fight this thing. Like, what's up with that?
I fucked up the clip out. People were when like they were pretty much like, okay, when he gets outside, everyone start getting ready to clip out, like because he's gonna flip, like he's gonna flip. I said the wrong name. I said Arsenal Gear like a dummy, and I was like, no, Kev, it's Ray, you dummy. So I messed up the clip, but yeah, that was insane. And wait, why did I get confused with Arsenal Gear? I know it's the same game, but why did I get confused with it?
I mean,
Whatever,
Ray protected
well.
Arsenal Gear. They had like a battalion of them.
I said the whatever,
Also-
but it was still incredible. Yeah,
I will correct myself about Liquid not needing Rex because he had Ray. Ray did not have nuclear capabilities. There's no railgun on Ray.
I have a
Anti-
big.
insane to me.
I mean, what? Sorry. Go ahead, Omar. Go ahead.
did Ray really not have nuclear capabilities?
I think
It's
it
an
was
anti-Metal Gear Metal Gear.
yeah.
Oh, sure,
It was,
right.
It was
I guess that makes
defense
sense.
for Arsenal Gear. Arsenal Gear was the real nuke house.
Right.
The-
And the GW house, right? Like, okay.
Yeah. I genuinely thought the arc at the end was supposed to be Arsenal Gear, because it's like the big sub-nautical hulking thing. But I guess Arsenal Gear was probably scrapped once it landed on shore of Manhattan.
Yeah. My thought at the end of it was like, wait, like, so if Shadow Moses has never been touched in like 9 years, right? Liquid definitely knows Shadow Moses exists, right? So why didn't he just go? Maybe he just didn't think of it. Maybe I'm thinking to have myself and like, Kev, if you want a game with a story, like this is the story. Like, stop trying to like, you know, think of obvious ways that would happen in real life that would not warrant a story, right? But wouldn't he have just gotten the railgun like way before this point? If he knew that like there was just a capable railgun that can shoot a nuke,
I
just chilling there, right?
He might need to still acquire a nuke, perhaps.
Yeah, and I also think
Oh, he might
needed-
still need a nuke. Okay.
Yeah, he
Maybe.
also needed some grasp over the SOPs so he could actually do this, because I think if he just rolled up, it would have been the thing that Merrill said they could have done. Like, every single military force could have just showed up, turned off his guns, and then he's dead. Like,
I see. Okay.
Yeah. He
Okay,
probably didn't want
I
to like
guess-
tip his hand before.
I guess
he
that
could
makes a
actually
lot of
do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's complete. Okay. Gotcha. That makes perfect sense. Gotcha.
I will say this fight features probably the best codec hint of any fight in Metal Gear.
oh,
Did you guys do this?
no, I did not.
No.
No.
I don't think
So if you call Otacon, he gives this whole diatribe of like the process of building Metal Gear Rex, and then being like, so I developed this backdoor system where if Rex gets really close to something, it can like use an electromagnetic field to mess with whatever's near it. And he was like, I didn't get authorization to implement that in the system, but I put it in anyways. And Snake's like, well, what does that mean? He's like, basically getting close to Ray, and you can do like CQC with Ray. So that's how that's how I defeated Ray. Whereas like if you get close enough and Ray attacks you, it'll like transmit this field and it will like disable Ray briefly, and you hit triangle and Rex will like jump on top of Ray, use like all of its. It'll switch off between like the lasers hitting it, or like the guns hitting it, or the rockets hitting it. It's really cool, and I think this is like one of the only instances in Metal Gear Solid 4 where using the codec during a boss fight helps, and I think it's probably the best in the series. It's really cool.
I wish you didn't tell me that. I wish you didn't tell me that.
Jack.
Because you get backstory and you get like
Damn.
practical usage of how to approach the fight rather than just spitting lead at Ray. I think it's really cool. I'm glad that they included that.
I wish
The
that was the
way-
only way that you could kill him.
Mm.
Damn.
The way Rex can like stomp Ray in that fight is so good.
Yeah.
Like, it
Like-
looks crazy.
Jack, I'm glad your persistence stood through all of Snake Eater and the majority of 4, because that's a good thing to. I'm sure that was a good payoff.
Oh yeah.
Because I noticed too, like, I like having the R1 leg sweep thing. I liked that dealing with the geckos, right? But when I got outside, I ended up just using the laser because it stunned him, and then I was like, oh, can I just like do the leg sweep on him? So I ran up, and I was prompted when he was down to do triangle, so I did get to see him do like all the missiles and the lasers and stuff, and like kicking him down. But the context makes that way cooler. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I also love how, I forget which Jurassic Park movie this was, but there was like one dinosaur that was like new into the universe that was like this big hulking thing. But at the end of the day, the T-Rex still won against it. And I'm like, of course, like the classic Metal Gear will still triumph over whatever new Metal Gear comes about. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I think that was Jurassic World.
Yeah, I think so.
And but oh, go ahead, Omar.
No, you go ahead. I'm sorry. I had something else.
Just the T-Rex comparison also, I thought it was cool because like since Rex's like jaw is open, like you can when you do some of the finishers, right, like he clamps the jaw on Ray and does like a big like slam down. It's cool. I like it.
No, there's no way that Jurassic World guy wasn't a Metal Gear fan. I think.
Totally.
Like,
Yeah.
I will say on the codec call thing, I feel like the Vamp codec calls are one of the worst in the series so far. Because I don't know if we talked about that. You did not get help at all during that fight.
Not at all.
And,
No.
Yeah, and that's why I think I was like, I guess I'll just forget doing this whole thing, and I missed out on that codec call. Now I'm upset. I'll have to look it up.
I
Yeah, like I think like Alacon's like do it. do it for Emma, like you know,
he's
like,
crying on the
yeah,
phone. Like,
and it's like, help me, like
Yeah.
I don't know, like I don't know what to do.
Yeah, could have gotten the
I,
syringe hint. In
I
that.
even called Rosemary too. Oh, what did Rosemary say? It was also some like, oh, I don't have any tips, but like I'm with you, good luck, whatever. And it's like, please, anyone, like Colonel, fuck it, someone. Yeah.
all right. If this game was full out fan servicey, what if what if Campbell became like your main codec guy during this whole thing?
I would have loved that.
That would
The
have
whole
been
Shadow Moses thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of the codec, though, I kind of stopped calling people in past weeks, but I played this in 2 sessions this week. Last night, I stopped after Crying Wolf, and I went to save, and I thought I had to use the codec to save, because I just have been saving when the game prompts me, basically. So I went to Otacon, he said some shit, I just, like, forgot what he said. And then I was like, maybe it was Rosemary, so I called Rosemary. And because I was still on the battlefield, she had commentary about the B&B fight, where she was just like really upset. She was like, "It's not good for these women that have this trauma to go undealt with, and it's horrible that they're continuing to fight on the battlefield." And Snake's going back and forth with her about like, "Well, it's just how war is." And then she's like, well, no human would make these people do this. Like, in the short term, it's going to be beneficial to them, but in the long term, they're going to become useless on the battlefield because they're not dealing with all this stuff. And she was just pissed at Liquid because he was doing that, but it was another instance of the game being like, mental issues, take care of yourself. Like,
Do you think it would be well, no, from the way you just said that, it sounds like definitely not. But do you think it would have been better if instead of Drebin giving you the call after every B&B fight, it was Rose?
yes.
Okay.
No, like, genuinely, because I think from Rose, I mean, I say this with like the expectation and hope that Kojima would write this well, but like I think having Rose be the one that tells the backstory as these women who were corrupted by war and had to deal with these things from Rosemary's perspective, you know, the psychologists on the codec, like also a woman, like that, I feel like would have helped contextualize this entire, like, given a purpose to the B&B thing, because I still don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, we wrap up this.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
No, I mean, like, to honestly, like, agree with you, like, there really isn't a clear point to the BBs even being here in this game, right? Like,
it's the Metal Gear form, I think. It's like the 4 boss battles. But like,
yeah, I mean, like, I get it, like, from like a gameplay perspective of, yeah, like, just to give us, but like, is their sole purpose just to give us boss fights?
Probably.
They hate Snake.
Like,
They specifically hate Snake.
Like, has anyone questioned like what's the like in-game narrative reason? Like, is it just because they hate Snake? Like, it's so definitely
like,
the more we get into it,
yeah.
But like
like that's it.
Yeah, it feels very, very. It feels like a late development thing. Like it feels like that was never the intention for this game to have those boss fights, and like I don't.
It's
because then it's like, would we be complaining about there not being boss fights in this game? But if we want a boss fight, like, yeah, I feel like we would have said something for sure. But at least make them good. Like I don't know, man. I don't know.
To be fair, I do think this game has maybe the best boss fight in the entire series at some point.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I shouldn't have said that, but I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, hey, next week's the finale, dude.
Okay.
Like, we gotta hype it up, you know?
Okay. Yeah. I still have people tweeting me, yo, you still have the best to come.
Yeah.
Chat was like, do not stop. I'm like, guys, I can't. I'm on schedule. I'm the flower in the glass. I can't continue. Like, even if I wanted to, like, I just can't. I don't want to ethically do that to the episode. You know, like me growing with the series.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw people saying like the best is yet to come, which is like, how?
Yeah.
Yeah. Undeniably, some great Metal Gear stuff coming up in the next act.
Yes.
Bro, how?
So
should we glaze? Are we are we fully going into next week mode? Because there's one moment.
No.
Maybe
Still,
you're
there's
talking
still a
about.
little
Okay.
bit left to clean up for sure. And then
Yeah,
we can get
there's
to
still that big thing. Yeah,
So-
for sure.
Let's see. After the fight happens, this was again just unintentionally funny to me, right? Like, Liquid and Snake both get out of their shit, and Snake falls and like pulls a hammy or something, and like you have these two
Liquid,
old men
get back
chasing
here.
each other. It looks like that. What was the Jackass guy? Didn't he do a movie about being a grandpa, like just chasing something? Like it looked like that.
Grandpa. Yeah.
Sure. Like it's like these two old men just like jaunting after each other. It's just so ridiculous.
Dude, the way Liquid runs in that scene is so good. Like that's a gift, right? Like him like
So
going
funny.
ah.
Yeah, when he like turns back around, it's like,
Yeah.
dude, what? Yeah.
I hate Liquid in this game. He's so silly.
It's
the worst.
Even that one moment, Jack.
It's dumb. He's just like like it's like
It literally is.
he's a joke. He's a joker. Not the good Joker. He's a bad
No,
Joker.
he's the cool Joker.
Bad Joker. He's a bad Joker.
He's like
He's
Cesar
twisted.
Romero Joker, where he doesn't even want to shave his mustache. He just paints white face paint over it.
This is why
Commit to the
Ocelot
role, bro.
is a tragic character, because Liquid is using his body for this.
Yeah, he gets this British dude taken over, and he's just so silly and flamboyant. It's ridiculous.
We also get a Fox Die fake out that I liked.
That was I loved it because it's a nice pregnant pause of like, are you serious? Like, is this really happening? Like for real? Because then it's like, okay, my man, okay, yeah, like I guess there could be some remnants of Fox Diet and Liquid Soul, that seeped in the Ocelot. Sure,
Because
all right.
I think they focus on the
could've-
arm.
Yeah, they focus on the arm. Like, okay, all right, that would make a lot of sense. Yeah, that definitely seems like a Metal Gear move. And then, yeah, that's not. So that was funny. Good stuff.
This is where we get the reveal of the Ark, Liquid's Outer Haven, which, for the returning members, Outer Heaven, is there what?
Outer Heaven was Big Boss's dream of nation for the mercenary nation, essentially. That was destroyed in Metal Gear 1. In Metal Gear 2, he wanted to revive it in Zanzibar land, I believe. That was foiled. And then Liquid in Metal Gear Solid 1 wanted to revive that idea. And in Metal Gear Solid 2, Solidus wanted to revive that idea on the island of Manhattan. And the whole, a lot of points in Metal Gear Solid 4 are the fact that Liquid and his crew had a haven within the system, I think with GW.
Okay.
And this is them sort of trying to combine that idea with Outer Heaven, essentially.
Okay.
That's how I believe that all shakes out.
Okay. You made it make sense to me. I think that's stupid, but you made it make sense to me. I'm with you. It's good.
You're not wrong.
The logic makes sense.
We're not having an Outer Heaven. We're having an Outer Haven.
Yeah.
That's Liquid to me.
So,
Just dumb.
Omar, can you describe the Ark as it comes out of the water? What does it look like? What is this thing?
It's got a lot of angles on it, and maybe it's got a big gun. I can't really quite remember, to be honest.
So there's the railgun. There's also 4 faces. I didn't get a good look, but there are 4 faces on the side of this boat.
Fuck! I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
Let me talk about that. Let me talk about that.
Please do.
It's Mount Snakemore. Isn't it Big Boss, Solidus, Liquid, and is Liquid? I think it's Liquid, Solidus, and Big Boss, right? All in that one rock? No.
Big Boss is definitely on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't catch who it was, but
there's definitely 2 eye patches, so I think there is Big Boss and Solidus.
And that wasn't in Metal Gear Solid 2, right? This is the first thing. This is a Metal Gear Solid 4 thing, right?
yeah.
Okay. I'll look it up.
Fellas, what's the other Mount Rushmore reference
You have a
Anyone?
Mount Rushmore reference?
I'm-
in this game?
I know what
I
you're
know-
talking about.
Should I say it?
Wait.
Is there payoff?
Honestly, I don't.
I don't know if there's payoff for it.
I think there is.
Okay.
Is it about initials?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we
Sure
can
is.
wait.
Okay.
Okay, I was gonna say, like I don't recall. I don't recall.
I mean, we got 1
Yeah,
week
I'm
left, so like better safe than sorry, you know.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I mean, a ton about my. I don't even think I could tell you probably tell you a few presidents that are up there in real life, but I don't think I could tell you all of them. To be honest,
Mount Rushmore
off
doesn't-
the top of my head.
it's not real.
I don't think it's a spoiler to name what these snakes are, but like, because I think you can see them right here. I'll post the pic right here. But like,
Let's
yeah,
see.
that's an older big boss on the left, right, and that looks like Solid Snake in the middle. And then, oh wait, no, is that Solid on the left? Then Solid Snake.
I thought Solid Snake was the third. If we're starting from the left,
Yeah, there's a bandana there.
yeah. The bandana. I think Liquid is the last one, and then this middle one, I think Solid is.
No, wait. The middle one is it's
Okay,
Liquid,
so
right, the middle is Solid and Liquid.
Starting from the left,
that's
right?
That's Liquid Ocelot, with the mustache.
Left is 100% Solidus because he
Yeah,
has
'cause of the
Doc Ock stuff. Right is Big Boss because that's how he was drawn in the Metal Gear Solid 1.
And the eye patch is on
art.
that eye, right?
Correct,
The right eye. Okay.
Oh wait. Oh damn. Okay. Sorry. My bad. I thought left was Liquid and no. Yeah. I thought left was Liquid and right was the very right was Big Boss.
Very right is Big Boss. Very left is Solidus.
Okay, let me.
And then
Why do they all look the same?
Middle left is because they're all genetic. Middle left is Old Snake, I believe.
What?
Right. And then middle right is Liquid.
What?
Okay.
Wait. Okay.
Yeah.
Starting from left to right. Okay. Starting from left. I thought it was Big Boss, Solidus, Snake, Liquid.
Wait,
mustache?
no, Liquid
Boss
doesn't have an
Snake.
eye patch. Liquid's on the.
Oh wait,
Liquid's
that is an eye patch.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
I
I see it now. So I thought
I'm
the
stupid.
third one, it looked like just the hair with a bandana, but you're absolutely right. That's Liquid. That because the hair goes down low. That's Liquid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
And
nailed
for
it.
some reason though, why this must have been constructed very recently. Why is Old Snake up there?
I bet because this was Liquid's doing, right? I bet he was like, because look at Liquid. Liquid's his old form, right? He's hot Liquid.
Yeah.
I bet he's like, just to piss off my brother, I'm just gonna make him look like this old ass man.
But when I first saw this, it's very quick. It's a very quick glance at these. I thought it was Big Boss and then like the old Patriots. Like I thought like Eva would be up there. Like I thought Liquid was Eva. Mm-hmm. And then I thought like Zero would be up there. And like Sigint or like Paramedic or someone would be up there, but it's the Snake Club.
Yeah, which makes
Wow.
maybe it was that originally, but like Liquid stole this, so I can't imagine the Patriots had Liquid's face on that thing,
No.
It makes zero sense that this exists, but I think this is one of the best parts about Metal Gear Solid 4.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's great. I don't know what why, because you think about all these characters, like in the grand scheme of things, like I don't know, are the snakes that important to be next to each other like this in the world? Oh, I guess maybe it's just Ocelot's thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because Big Boss didn't want any of the three of them at all.
No, like they aren't friendly with each other, right?
No,
like
none of them like each other.
I haven't seen Hamilton, but maybe the main guy hates Thomas Jefferson. I don't know.
I think he does.
But is who's on the actual Mount Rushmore?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
We get that there. It goes up. For some reason, I thought this thing went in the sky. It does not, but I remembered it doing that.
It's not an MCU helicarrier.
No.
That would be dope though.
And Liquid's big plan here is to steer the ship. What's the front of it? The front of the ship towards
The steer?
the stern, maybe.
Stern? Oh,
The bow, I believe, is the front.
The bow.
right?
Okay.
Bow.
So the bow of the boat is pointed at the melting Shadow Moses Island. And because, global warming is just making all this ice so super weak, this boat is able to just crack the island apart. And he wants to bury Snake by crushing him into the gravel. And Raiden, in the escape, got buried. Decides to dislocate his arm so he can reach a little bit further, get the sword, cut his arm off, run over, and speaking of MCU, he pulls a Hulk, just punches this thing in the face, and just stops moving. So,
which, again, incredibly disturbing. I don't like mutilation, whatever you want to call that. Nope. Like, I won't watch that one movie where the hiker gets pinned on the rock and has nope. I won't. I just won't.
Hours.
I simply won't do that. That's a no-go. I like my appendages. I want to keep them intact for as long as possible if I can control it, So, yeah, I think anything involving like ripping out a bone yourself, that's a hard no. So that was disgusting. But shout out my boy Raiden, a savage, a true savage.
I think it's very dumb that he can hold the ship back.
Yeah,
that's all I want to say. It's cool, but
it's fair. That's fair. It's fair. I don't know.
It's dumb, but like you get the sense it's like, all right, he can only do this for like a second, and and like he makes the dent in it. You can see, it is silly, but it's like, hey, I can only do this for a hot second. We don't know what that white blood's doing. Like, hey, let me be strong for a second. But
it's just like it has to be like a super advanced warship, right? Like I feel like
it is
talking about how cool this boat is, and then there's one guy I know, Cyborg, yes, and 1 second, yes, but like still, but yeah.
I felt I wasn't expecting to feel this way again playing through the second time, but I felt very emotional during this scene, and I honestly, at the end of the day, I don't think it justifies me feeling emotional because I feel like we don't really get to. Like he screams Rose at the end of it before he gets sunk and dies. And you get the callback to Metal Gear Solid 2 with their first conversation. And we really didn't even get to explore their relationship in this game all too much. And I feel like the emotions I had during this like wasn't all too deserved. And I feel like it was probably the callback to Metal Gear Solid 2. Mm-hmm. But I just love Raiden so much, and hearing that again made me sad.
Jack.
I thought this. Oh, sorry, Christian.
No, you go first.
Well, I was going to poo-poo on the scene a little bit, so if you were going to be positive.
No, I wasn't going to poo-poo on it, but I was going to say, Jack, I'm sorry if this ruins it for you, but I think this is a joke because, this is Jack. Rose is still out there living. And Jack is killed by a boat in the ice.
Yeah.
This is just a Titanic reference.
That's
I
great.
didn't even think of that. That's awesome.
I didn't either.
Holy shit.
I'm sorry. But no, when Say Goodbye yesterday hit, I was like, oh man, I'm feeling stuff. But like,
you're feeling, oh man, Metal Gear Solid 2 was so good.
Kind of,
yeah.
The thing with this scene is I feel like, do you ever see like, those clips of like a Bollywood action movie and they keep showing you the same shot over and over again, more dramatic each time? Because I feel like didn't they keep showing like these shots of Raiden, like they kept zooming in on him in a way that I felt like it was very dramatic and definitely not deserved. It was a little bit of an awkward scene, I thought. And I don't know. That's kind of how I felt about it. But I think, like, does he die there or what happened? Like, they don't show his body.
His little light turns off.
It does?
Mm-hmm.
It does turn off. That was the indicator to me that, okay, like, Raiden's gone. And so now at least we, obviously, I think everyone here could probably tell my train of thought maybe it was like, okay, Rising Revengeance. That seems to be the story of how Raiden gets to MGS4. Which I think is interesting, like there will be a sort of time hopping thing, from there, and now I get like why you guys said like, hey, like it's not really that imperative that we play that in a specific order because that seems to be an ancillary just telling specifically of Raiden and how he gets to MGS4, right? Which I think is pretty cool. Also, the ability for him to hold back the ship, I played in my mind as like he just got a refresh of the white blood stuff thing, so maybe he's like, at the tip top shape he could possibly be, but then it's like he was able to do all of that to Vamp and exhaust all of his like energy, I guess you can say, before he needs to do like a refresh type thing. So I guess that makes that fight a little bit more impressive that he was able to do all that. Once again, I'll stress he picked up a katana with his foot and did a disco spin, like head spin with. Yeah, so again, very impressive. But yeah, no, like that's how I took it. And when Raiden first pulls up to the scene, I'm like, okay, if they're doing mirrors, if we're doing parallels, right? The last time we saw a cyborg ninja here, he did unfortunately die. So I'm like, damn, is this where it's gonna be? I instantly thought about that when we see Raiden first pop up in Act 4, not like at the mission before,
right?
The briefing, that's the word. But once he pulls up to Shamos, it's like, oh man, shit, like, is it over for him? And indeed it is. But do I think it was like the most impactful send off? I'm not entirely sure it was like that impactful. It was sad to see him go for sure, but yeah, I don't know. Wasn't like anything crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't think I would not have been emotional if they didn't include the Metal Gear Solid 2 dialogue, which is a bit of a cheat, I will admit, but it hit me. But yeah, like what I said, I don't think this really deserves the emotions that I felt during this, because they didn't really focus on the relationship between Jack and Rose in Metal Gear Solid 4 post Metal Gear Solid 2. I know this is how stories work, but I wish Naomi and Vamp were ditched in this game in lieu of focusing on Jack and Rose and that relationship. I think that would have been far more interesting because we have attachments to those characters in much more of a way than we do with Naomi and Vamp. And I just feel like I think that Raiden's sacrifice would have been way more impactful if we had at least a single conversation between the two characters in this game, or any backstory between them in what happened between 2 and 4, because we really don't get that unless I missed some codec calls, but I don't think that's where that should have been. So yeah,
especially when you consider that Raiden's been like on ice for most of the time he's been around. Like jokingly, like I said it last week, I had the exact same thing this week of like, in the mission briefing, we cut to a certain angle like 10 minutes into it. It's just like, oh yeah, Raiden's there. It's just like on the table. Like I completely forgot about him. But yeah, I'm with you, Jack. I think in terms of just a big moment for Raiden, like I do think we'll see how I feel once we finish all this, but I do think Raiden is my favorite character in Metal Gear. So like, it is ridiculous if it's his like big ultimate action for this super high stakes, the world will end. He's a cyborg. I'll buy it, just for like a hot sec. It still looks visually ridiculous. I'm just like him one-handed holding back this thing. He just literally lost an entire appendage, and you can like see the bones sticking out. He's bleeding out. Like,
yeah,
it's ridiculous. But as I think it's fine. It didn't make me emotional. I wish it did, but I did love hearing the song again.
Metal Gear Solid 2. I'm sorry, I have to
please,
put this out here right now.
Please.
Metal Gear Solid 2 could actually happen.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know if this could.
Not in 2014.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
That's all. I just feel like there's a groundedness to the first two games that are definitely kind of lost here. And not that they were the most grounded, to be honest, but like this is on another level.
Like, I mean, 3 is kind of like 3 is kind of grounded as well. Like I'd say even more so than the first two.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
I feel that.
4 is just an anime movie.
Yeah.
It's just a big anime movie.
For me, it's like I can't help also, but like I don't know. I instantly had this thought. I don't know if you guys had the same thing, but like when we cut back to Snake just staring at Raiden dead, like it's like it calls back to like when Snake was saying like I'm a shadow, where like if you're near me, you never see the light.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like fuck, like there has to be guilt with that. Like it's not Snake, like I'm dying anyway. Like I'm gonna die, right? Like, and it's almost like now at like this Act 5 that we're about to head to, like I think we're like seeing the Snake like in a level that I don't think we were I don't think I ever thought we would see Snake, of like having to almost like begrudgingly like carry this baton. How have I not like I don't know how to explain it. Like I feel like Snake is feeling like a very different thing here, where it's like this young person that I met in like MGS2, he had all this life to live, and he chose to lay down his life for the legend.
Mm-hmm.
But I just have never viewed myself as that legend, myself as David, as you know, Solid Snake. Like it's I would love to see like that struggle within Snake, of like everyone like is putting all this back force into this legend when like physically I'm the furthest thing from that at this particular point.
Yeah, because
you know,
at the end of 2, you get the sense that Raiden is what Snake is fighting for, because there's that whole ending monologue of like, I can't have children, I can't leave an impression on this world, but like it's about giving the people that will grow beyond me like a chance, and Raiden is like the embodiment of that. So like seeing Raiden fall, like Snake probably feels guilty, right? Like Raiden fell into what he was doing for reasons, and seeing like Snake trying but really unable to like guide him in this world where like war is the big thing. Like he can't really help him go beyond that, and I'm sure he wants to, but then this happens and he's like, yeah, I see what you're saying, Kevin, for sure.
Yeah, like yeah, and it's weird because like I know I should feel a lot more for Raiden laying down his life, but I almost feel worse for Snake still living. That sounds really dumb, but like that's kind of like what I gathered walking away. Like I don't know, it's weird. Like it's like he like we all said, he was practically dying at the mission briefing, you know, and it's like Otacon even's like, hey, we still have jobs to do. You're right, Snake, right? Like without Snake even needing to give him any type of pep talk, you know, or like any type of thing that he had in MGS2 when Emma died in front of him. You know what I'm saying? And it's just all of this like party, if you will, you know, are all riding on the legend of Solid Snake. And Snake just doesn't feel, he's never felt that he's a legend. Ever. You know? Yeah. I just find that super interesting. Like, I find that really interesting. I hope that we get some sort of commentary with Snake about that and like how he's dealing with it. Because I can't even imagine what the mission briefing is going to be like. Because like, in all intents and purposes, like they took another L here. Like it's another Empire Strikes Back, you know? So it's like, how are we going to get to Return of the Jedi? Like, because we construed it like another, like he has the railgun. Liquid has it. Yeah, Mei Ling helped out looking like Rihanna on a battleship, you know, cool. And that. but I don't know why I thought of that too. I thought about that. I'm like, damn, like I probably shouldn't have. I don't know why I thought about that, but I did.
No,
well,
I'm glad you did.
While I was playing, I feel like I gotta reference it, you know. Shout out to Rihanna. But yeah, like that's where I'm at. Like walking into Act 5, it's like, fuck, like, oh my god, like how is Snake gonna like react and like take this? You know, crazy.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm looking at Rihanna quotes from Battlefields. So what was that movie called? The Battleship. My bad.
Battleship.
Battleship.
Based
I never
off
thought
of
that.
a popular board game.
Right.
Omar, very quick aside. I forget. Did we see Men in Black 3 together?
We did. And that was the same time that Battleship was coming. Oh,
We
dude!
did see the beginning of Battleship. They played the first like 10 minutes of Battleship instead of Men in Black 3. And
Right.
They came in and
That
they were
was
like,
crazy.
sorry.
Did they give you
They
free
gave
tickets?
us free tickets. Yeah, I think they did.
They did.
That happened to me with I was watching I went to one of those Cinemark Ghibli fests, and I meant to go see Princess Mononoke, and they started playing Spirited Away. And I bet the projectionist was like, I don't know, all this shit's the same, and started playing Spirited Away.
Did you stay? Did you just watch a little Spirited Away?
They eventually put on Princess Mononoke, and they gave us free tickets.
Okay.
Nice.
I feel like if I was in that situation, I wouldn't know what to do. Like, I should tell them, but what if I just watch this?
I mean, either way, you're winning.
Yeah.
For
You're either
real.
getting Men in Black or Battleship, or you're getting Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away. They're both, similar quality movies across
Four
the
classics.
four of this. Yeah, exactly. So, really making out.
Omar, if you find a Battleship quote you like, I would love to end the episode on that. But
I feel like there is a memeable Battleship quote. I think Rihanna says herself. Which I mean,
we are on a battleship.
Yeah. What are we, some sort of battleship?
and I hate to even joke about Rihanna because shout out to Rihanna.
She's amazing.
On quite frankly all fronts, if I may.
Yeah.
Across the board. Big ups.
She talks about Colonel Sanders a lot in this movie for some reason.
Why did I assume you were talking about Rihanna?
No, this is Rihanna in that movie.
What?
She always talks about Colonel Sanders, apparently.
Interesting.
Is there a colonel on the boat named Sanders?
Yeah, is that why? Or is
She
it the
keeps
other?
referencing KFC as well.
What the fuck?
Big
I don't know
product
what
placement.
Yeah,
That's
that's probably
that's
it.
Okay.
interesting.
So, maybe let's not end on a Battleship quote.
Well, next week we're gonna see hopefully all these questions answered because it is the final act of Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots. As always, we will do our roundup of final thoughts on this week, expectations / predictions for next week. Because it's the final episode or the final act, I think it's fair to, because this was built as like a big like bombastic thing, I feel like we can hype up some stuff next week. And also, Kevin, you've asked, next act is the thing that has the long cutscene.
That's what I heard. Yeah. So next week, I'll ask the panel very, very kindly, very graciously. If I'm gonna need a middle point, let me know. For sure. But I mean, even if I don't get a middle point, honestly, we might just do a really long episode. Stream for Wednesday. Right now. Why not? Why not make it a good? Yeah.
I feel like
we could do that.
you might be fried at that last moment. Like
Fried in like a bad way, or in like a shock and awe way.
Like as in like when that long cutscene happens, you might want to space it out a little bit to where you're ready to see what it will tell you.
Okay.
There's a lot.
Like,
I'm pretty sure you get multiple save points during the cutscene.
Yeah.
You get save points during the cutscene?
I think so.
Holy shit! Wow, damn.
And,
yeah.
I ended this at 13 hours, 37 minutes total. And the playthrough I have before this on file was like 17 hours for Metal Gear Solid 4. So like at least another 4 hours for stuff.
I'll say the absolute cap max I want to be on stream is probably 4 hours. Like if it's like that's like the max long one that like, all right, I can tolerate. If we start touching like 4.5 and the 5 region, I'm not touching the 5 hour region for streams though. So that one will have to cut. But like, let me see. I feel like I've been able to complete, like, I never felt that any of the acts beforehand, including Act 4, were really that long for me.
Yeah. So
let's see.
I have the IGN thing pulled up. The next thing is 1, 2, 3. It's 6 parts next week.
Okay.
Which is on the shorter side compared to the others. I think it's comparable to like maybe a little longer gameplay wise than Act 3, but the cutscenes will absolutely inflate this.
Okay.
Again, I'm sure one of us will get through this playthrough before you even hit Monday, but might be a good idea to prepare yourself to do the majority of everything you have to do, and then for the final stream, the final act of like what you have to do as the player, and then the cutscene. That might be a good way to space it out.
If we can break that up, that'd be
Like,
fabulous.
Pre-playing, that's my expectation, I think, for you.
Okay. Because for all the 4 streams, they're all on average 3 hours.
Yeah.
One's like 250, the other one's 310. So it's right at around 3 hours for each act. Yeah.
Like, you might not want to, but if you're worried about, again, it goes long, so there's a lot of stuff to take in at that final cutscene, so you might.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. The way it's sounding, let's do all the gameplay end stream, and then before, like, the last thing that you said, like the gameplay thing, and then the cutscene, let's have that to be episode 6. Sounds perfect.
Well, why don't we run through final thoughts, predictions, and plugs? Jack, let's hear it.
Sure. I think this is probably tied with Act 1 as being my favorite acts in the game. I really love how this act reiterates the sort of bittersweet tone of this game. And this is very fan servicey, but for me it works at the end of the day. And I'm excited for Act 5. I remember like one thing about Act 5, maybe a couple things. But yeah, I honestly don't really know what to expect going into it, aside from those things that I remember. And I feel like I have a really good sense of where this game's going to place in my rankings right now. So I'm excited to put that in the official rank sometime soon. But yeah, you can follow me on social media at FascinatedJack. Christian and I have a Marvel's Avengers / MCU podcast called Excelsior. You can find that on the JoyClicks YouTube channel or on podcast services of your choice.
Very nice. Omar, let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about next week's episode. Not to spoil anything, but there's like a sequence, a boss battle, and the big cutscene that I really can't wait for. Like there's some cool stuff in that act. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ohmstechef. I haven't really been streaming too much recently, but I got a new upscaler, so I might be able to stream some NES stuff. So that could be cool. So check it out.
Yeah. Right.
Fabulous.
This is one of the better acts in the game, I think, so far. It is incredible. It is like literally the definition of fan service is this. Like, I think the rest of the game, it's not too bad, but here is like, it is this. That is what this 3-hour chunk was. Most of it works for me. I think it might be a detriment to MGS4 as a whole. Jack, I think, like you said, I know where this is going to rank for me personally. Like, I'm pretty confident where it's going to land. So we'll see what happens next week. And I think when we finish MGS3, I asked in the final moments, is anyone's favorite moment in 4? I don't know if mine is, because I haven't played 4, but there is a moment next week that could very easily, if it plays, hopefully what I'm imagining it will, and it all works, it could be my favorite moment in the series. So I'm very excited to see that, and like Omar said, the cutscene as well. Looking forward to just making some popcorn, settling in, watching that thing. And yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Chen2D2, as well as here on youtube.com/joyclicks. For this show, Jack and I do our Marvel show, do Gamescast with Kevin. We're going to do a Hall of Game stream in the next couple weeks, so if you missed the first one, you can check that out in a playlist on the channel where we nominate games we think are worthy of becoming GOATs in our Hall of Game. We got 2 in there right now. You can check that out. We're going to come back new and improved for the format and presentation with the June ceremony, so look forward to that.
I'm already locked and loaded for that one.
Yeah, you
all know.
You got your pick.
I have a pick that I need to tell Christian.
Mm-hmm.
If it's already picked, I'm gonna be heartbroken, but we'll see. We'll see.
There's one pick and one maybe at the moment. So
okay,
and Jack is the one pick.
Okay, I see.
I don't think you'd pick the game I picked, Kevin.
Okay, and I think it would be slim if you'd pick mine. Yeah, I couldn't see you picking my pick, to be honest. So I think we're fine. But
God of War 3, let's go.
Hey, also, not a bad God of War.
Pretty good.
Not a bad one to pick. Not a bad one. I'm so sad that we're at Act 5. I'm so sad it's gonna end this next week because I don't know if it's even fair to say that like this has been like the best act in Metal Gear Solid so far, or like the best play session I've had with Metal Gear Solid. Like, I don't think that'd be actually fair to really even say definitively, but I loved this act. Like, and I said it on stream, and I haven't said it this podcast yet, but I think it's fitting here at the end, where like throughout Metal Gear Solid 1, I kept saying like I can see the remake. Like I can see what they would do for it to be, and I can't believe that I saw it last night. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like that's what I envisioned. Like it's so weird how they just kind of nailed it. Like even from like the lighting to the way like Snake's footsteps echo throughout the environments in it, like in a not exactly the same, but in a very similar fashion from the first game. Like I love this section. Like and I totally get it's 100% for the most part fan service, and like I do appreciate how they do like some things to kind of like make it feel fresh, where you go down different certain avenues that weren't available in MGS1, and like just you go through different routes to get to similar points, you know, in the game that you don't see in the first game. But I loved it. I love this act. And then ending off Metal Gear Solid 4 next week, I'm very eager to see how this ends. I feel like it's probably true in the form of like, yeah, this is like Solid Snake's final mission. I could easily see that. I could easily see like it, like this is, you know, this is it. Perhaps we see the legend, right? Perhaps we I mean, granted, like we like have seen it, but like in a more underlined way, like, you know, this is where Solid Snake's arc ends, and like I really hope it means something big. I hope it's a big deal. I think one small thing too, like when you're playing the dream sequence and you get that game over sequence and that like dun 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 dun, dun, like I would love to hear that again. I wish that we had that throughout all the Metal Gear games. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I don't know how they would even fit that into Metal Gear Solid 4, but I would love to hear that, I guess. But overall, very excited to see how it ends. Yeah, you can, of course, watch me play it on Tuesday and Wednesday next week. YouTube.com says PlayStation Source. We're still trying to make it through Returnal. We've hit a wall, but it's all good. We're gonna get a run. Stars are going to align. It's gonna be all right. Working on a Ratchet and Clank video, of course, Road to Rip Apart, and big special announcement, of course, Road to Rip Apart. We will be having David K on Road to Rip Apart. Now, I said episode 6. I did get an email from the publicist. Mm-hmm. I haven't spoken publicly about this yet. Sony is like, hey, we're gonna have to vet this guy out, I guess. I don't know. The publicist said that, hey, like, they have to like I think properly align like the marketing with Sony before he can come on. So it may not end up being episode 6. Very unfortunate. Mm-hmm. I'm waiting to hear back from the publicist. There's a chance that this is just like a few day thing and it all works out. I don't know if Sony is scrubbing through all my content and like, you know, trying to see if like I'm worthy of having David K on. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. She has confirmed to me that like no matter what, we're gonna make this happen. It just might not be episode 6, but trust David K. Fingers crossed, unless Sony just stabs me in the back. How dare you? But we'll see about that. But definitely, hopefully that happens. Saves a Lot podcast still going strong, yeah, Twitter at PSORS vids, all that good stuff. I posted some of my Returnal fails on TikTok.
Very nice.
Those have been funny, doing a little bit of that. Still trying to get used to the layout. They don't look that pretty, but we'll see. But yeah, that's about it. I'm very excited. Very excited.
Very, very nice. Kevin, I want one wild prediction. Just one. Like, Ocelot turns out to be a triple, quadruple agent or something. Like, something.
Okay.
Your last moment, your last idea before you see the end of this game. Like, what do you want answered?
Ooh.
What's the thing you want to see or something like that?
What's the thing I want to see? The thing I want to see. I feel like you know what I want. Here's what I want the final boss to be. I want the final boss for it to be like Liquid actually never had control of Ocelot. Ocelot just let it happen, right? And so this final boss fight, talking like Liquid, acting like Liquid, right? Liquid rips off the fucking arm, tosses it, and is like, just kidding. I've been Ocelot this entire time, homie. And does the flippy twirly gun stuff, but with one arm. So it's even more impressive, That's yeah. Which it's like, that sounds crazy, but no. Like that I could see that happening. Why not? Why not? So but yeah. We'll just keep it at that.
Okay.
We'll just keep it at that.
All right. Yeah. It's a good prediction. I'm glad you got one out there, but
Deal.
That does it. Next week we'll be back for Act 5. I forget what it's called. We'll see it through and rank this in the series. The group ranking is probably going to take up some conversation next week, I'm imagining, because we're all uniform right now, but we'll see.
It's going to be a dartboard of a conversation.
Yeah. So we will see how that pans out. And then after that, week off, then we come back with I forget the name, Peace Walker conversation. So look forward to that. But
Indeed.
Oh, Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Huh?
What?
Are we doing Peace Walker before?
Oh, excuse me. I slipped.
Yes.
Forget what I said.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna wait.
Peace Walker's next. Kevin, Peace Walker's next.
Deal.
So that is the schedule, of course. You can find the show on podcast services, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, patreon.com/showclicks if you want to get involved. $5 for producer tier, like Chris Ackes and Aaron Easton. And look forward to more Longplay Club coming up. So that's going to do it for us this week. No Colonel Sanders in this podcast, but
There's one quote I think Snake says that I think is really good that we could end it on.
let's hear it.
We've been had.